This challenge Dad and I are taking on is unlike anything you've seen before. Because across Europe there are 13 trophies up for grabs for us to win, 11 different league titles, a Europa League and the Champions League. But here's the catch, once one of us wins a trophy, the other one can no longer win the same one. Therefore, the eventual winner would be the first to win 7 different trophies before the other. Out of all the league and nations available, we begin this challenge as well in Austria. More specifically, with Rapid and Austria Vienna, 2 rival clubs whose league is being dominated now by Red Bull Salzburg recently. And one final rule is that we cannot leave Austria until the Austrian Bundesliga is won by one of us. So with our race to 7 scorecard set, let's crack on with season number 1. And right away, Dad's system speaks for itself simply because of the amount of strikers that he has got at his disposal. He's also lining up some free transfers to add to his team, and both are some defensive-minded midfielders. I've decided to set up a 4-4-1-1 formation, and in my squad there are a few noticeable names that I recognise. As the season approached though, Dad already had his work cut out with Red Bull Salzburg in the first fixture, who of course are odds-on favourites to lift the title again. And let's just say that this match could have gone a lot better for Dad against the current champions, as they welcomed into the league with a nice little 4-0 loss. My match wasn't much better, and even though we weren't against one of the bigger sides in Austria, we still failed to score and lost 1-0. Soon after though, we clashed against each other, and with these two sides being big rivals, it was a massive game and certainly an entertaining one, as I come away with a 3-2 away win. So strap in for a new adventure as we race against each other to win the 7 trophies. Yes, Dad, this is the race to 7.
Yes.
A little bit of a different concept that we have cooked up here. As you can see, we've got these leagues in front of us. That is 11 different leagues, but we're also going to count the Europa League and the Champions League as 2 trophies we are to try and win. But, as we've stated in the rules, once you've won one, the other person cannot win one. And we're also starting things off in lovely Austria, where neither of us can leave Austria until one of us is lifting the league title. So no cups, domestic cups that we're worried about. It's just league titles, Europa League and Champions League. But we're starting off in Austria.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
Exactly. So there's 13 trophies up for grabs. Yep. The race to 7 means that once you've won 7, the other person can only win 6, which means you win overalls. Best of 13, race to 7. But of course, being in Austria, we are the 2 Vienna sides that you can see, Austria and Rapid. I am Austria, you are Rapid.
Yeah.
But not his pace, not the pace. That's the team he is.
Never Rapid.
We have also got this team in the league.
They're going to cause us the problems, aren't they?
And they do. They cause you a lot of problems, because if you're looking at the past winners, it's been a long time since somebody outside of Salzburg has won it, and that was actually my team in 2013. So here we go. This is going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? From when they burst onto the scene.
How quick we hoping to do this one?
Well, that's it.
Could be a long
could
few
be
seasons for this,
a long way trying to just get out of Austria, but that's where the fun. Everybody likes us struggling anyway, don't they? And that's always the fun of it. All right, so Austria Vienna. I had no money to kick things off, which is always fun, and I didn't actually be able to sign anyone outside of a little free transfer there, an Australian. Actually, I don't even think I signed him, so I didn't sign anybody for this season. I stuck with the team that they've already got, and I decided to go for a 4-4-2 with a attacking midfielder, so a 4-4-1-1 really. They've got a couple of players that you might recognise. Alexander Dragovic is a decent player that we've got in our lineup. We have got Dominic Fitz in that attacking midfield role, and we also have Muraham Hoskovic, who is an Austrian 20-year-old. A good youngster. I'm trying to train to beat the offside trap. Right now, he's class as striker, but he's only got 10th finishing level for composure, so I'm not expecting him to score that many goals, if I'm honest, but we don't have much choice. On the other hand, Dad, you have a lot of strikers at your club.
I can't believe how many strikers I had. Yeah, everybody on loan in my team seemed to be a striker, so I thought, whoa, what does that tell me to do?
Well, there you go. So you have got 7 main strikers there in the first team.
3 of them are on loan.
Yeah, so 7 strikers in total. In the club, you actually brought in a couple of players as well.
Yeah.
You've got this man here coming in as a centre defensive midfielder or centre back, and you've also brought in Kenneth Omeruo, who is a centre-back / right-back.
Nothing brilliant about them, pair of them, but they're just good squad players, really.
Yeah.
So strengthen up a little bit of a defence and centre-back, so yeah.
We still had a little bit of money in the budget, but decided not to spend it elsewhere.
Not many players wanted to come. So.
Well, that's it at the start of the season. Players in your team, a few more recognisable names, I think. Deandre Beljo, who of course is on loan from Augsburg, really good striker there. You've also got Bergstaller, who's 34 and a towering figure in himself. But in the midfield, you've got Lewis Schorb and Oswald. Maybe a couple of guys recognise those players there. Setkovic at the back, I think, is quite a recognisable Serbian player.
Yeah.
But in goal, everybody knows who's been playing Football Manager. Nicholas Hedel is your goalkeeper. So it'll be a good task to try and keep hold of him until you win the league.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, just keeping hold of him is easier than buying another one, isn't it? So
yeah. For that quality.
That's all I need to do.
He's also Austrian and only 22.
I'm getting used to this, not buying goalkeepers.
Well, yeah, that's it. So, to kick things off at the start of the season, we have, of course, played each other, and I've even got the win over Dad already. But victories against each other doesn't count for anything other than the fact that you're stopping them from potentially gaining points to win the league.
Yeah.
You started the season, Dad, really bad.
Yeah.
Because you've already faced Red Bull Salzburg and lost 4-0.
That ain't looking good, is it?
No.
Took him 10
minutes
to be 2-0 up. 30 minutes to be 3-0 up.
Yeah.
So game over after 30 minutes.
Sturm Graz also beat you 1-0 with 10 men. So at the start of the season, it's not been great. You've only picked up one win and a win in the cup as well. Tricky this, isn't it?
I've got 3 strikers up here and they're not doing anything.
This must be the first time you've played in Austria.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. It hasn't been my first, but it's been a while anyway. Now, this league does go into 2 different, kind of like Belgium, where it goes into a championship group. My schedule, I have also had a bad start too, because where Dad is in 10th, I'm in 9th. I've lost at the start of the season here to a team I should not be losing to. Then only 1-0 to Salzburg, which wasn't too bad. Beat Dad, which seems to be my only good result, other than Wolfsburg a win as well, because I also lost to Sturm Graz and got knocked out of the Europa Conference League all in one go. Not that obviously is the competition we're going for, the Europa Conference League, but the money is kind of what I was thinking in my head to allow me, because they have no money, to sign players next season, because right now my balance is really low and I only have, a massive amount of debt, and I only have 25% of any transfer revenue brought into the club already in season 1.
That's not good, is it?
Talk about having an advantage you've got on me there, Dad. But as I said, the league does split into 2 because there's only 12 teams. So if you're looking at the rules, it swaps into a championship group where everybody will then play each other again. As you can see there, number of teams, times that you play each other, 10 times in that. So 10 games. So you play each other twice once you go into the championship group. So if we both get into the same group, we'll play each other 4 times in a season.
Yeah.
And that is enough to really sway who wins the league.
Definitely.
And who doesn't. So, season number 1, let's get this underway. The race to 7 is underway, starting in Austria. How quick can we get the first one done? Well, in early December, when we clashed again, this time at my stadium, Dad's player decided to jump in with a disgusting tackle just 3 minutes into the match and get himself a straight red card. And despite actually taking the lead in that game, they still went on to lose 2-1. However, at the end of the first part of the league table, Dad's side is slightly ahead of mine, and with our points being half this season, he is 6 points behind Salzburg. This of course meant that we went into the championship group in the Austrian First Division, and that means we have to play each other twice again, 10 games in total, with each of us picking up a win. And after the 10 remaining fixtures, we were still nowhere near Red Bull Salzburg, who only lost 1 game all season and finished on 51 points. Right, well, as the season ends, we've got Red Bull Salzburg, of course, lifting yet another Austrian Bundesliga, as kind of expected.
Yeah.
But, hey.
They only lost 1 game.
Yeah, so we're 2nd and 3rd. You are some way ahead of me. But I did beat you 3 times this season.
Yeah, 3 times, 9 points. That cost me the league.
The stats, though, dominated by your players. Ryan May, who is a loanee from Stoke.
You wouldn't surprise there.
Scored 17. Beljo, who's a loanee from Augsburg, scored 16. And Oliver Strunz, who It's actually your player.
Oh, he's on my player.
Yeah, he's...
Well done, Oliver.
I don't know how he's that good, though. How he scored that many, because he isn't that good. But yeah, your players are dominating the player statistics. Maybe quite an oversight how you haven't managed to win the league here.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But Salzburg only lost one game all season against you. Wow. So they've done very well. Kind of dominated it.
Only not going to beat you.
Oh, yeah.
That'd have been all right then.
Yeah, if you had... Well, yeah, because I cost you 9 points.
Yeah.
So, in the games. So, that's a good start. There we go. I'm happy with that. But, I mean, in the Cup, we both sucked because you were out on the third place. We were both out, sorry, in the third round, which wasn't great, which then just allowed Red Bull Salzburg to just go on
But then we're not worried about
win
the
it
cups.
easy.
Not worried about it.
Not worried about the Cups at all. It's just nice.
I'm quite happy to lose in the first round.
Well, yeah, that's it. So, Dad, at the start of the season, or the first season in then, the two top scorers are two loan signings.
That's my problem, isn't it? Straight away, I know I've got to sign a striker.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one's all right. Oliver, I mean, like you say, he didn't look that good, but he still banged in
15 in just
goals
19
in 19
starts.
starts. Yeah, so yeah, I've got to look for a striker, I think, especially if I want to stay free up front.
Yeah.
Which would be difficult. I think we're losing two really good strikers they get.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what my wage, but I mean,
you only got 5 million.
Yeah, I'm going to buy for free or two good ones. I might.
No, not really.
No, see what happens then. Might have to go back to 2 up front and change it a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of tinkering.
Well, on my end of things, mine might be an even worse situation. I did mention how Hoskovic doesn't score many goals. He's only got 11 this season, but he only played 21, 10 for Plavicic, who is my defensive midfielder, which isn't great either, and Dominic Fitz got 14 assists. The less said about my team, the better at this point, but I also have no money because, as we know already, financial difficulties. Just 200k, still 25%, and £6 million in the red. All good over here in the race to 7. So, fantastic start in season number 1. Let's see what the summer of season 2 has in store for us. This summer was tough for me with my finances, so I was forced to sell my left back to bring in some cash. Even still, I could only afford to bring in one player at the minute, a veteran striker in Anthony Modeste. Dad, on the other hand, was having a much busier window buying and selling players for Rapid Vienna. Eventually, I was able to sign another player and a quality centre-back coming in to join my club. Again, it was an early derby match between our two sides, happening in just the second game of the season, and what an entertaining fixture this one turned out to be, with the final score finishing 3-3. Which might be down to the fact that I'm trying something crazy this season with a new system I've had on my mind on using. Although early signs are that it isn't the best system I've come up with, seeing as Basel have just knocked me out of the Europa League qualification stage, which of course is one of the trophies in the challenge that me and Dad are trying to win. And Dad, on the other hand, has managed to drop right into the competition. Well, Dad, bit of a entertaining summer for you. £7.5 million went out. One of them being Oliver Strunz, who we've mentioned quite a lot here already.
Well, I was going to keep it. He isn't that good, really, so no, he's got to go. So
replacement, though, considering he was £2.9 million, replacing with Seiko Koita is a good deal.
I'm pleased with this. Yeah, he's a good striker, very strong, very fast. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Well, I say very strong. He's only strength is 11, so he ain't that strong, is he?
No.
But he's quick. So, yeah.
Good player. I do believe he used to play for Red Bull Salzburg as well. He did. 28 goals in 56 games.
So he knows where the net is then, so hopefully he'll carry on with that.
Ball knowledge. I remember his time in Austria.
He's got 3 and 6 already, so he started.
Yeah, he's a goal scorer in Austria. He likes this place. So, the rest of the signings, though, we've got Carranza coming in from Feyenoord, another striker there.
Yeah.
Not a bad player.
That's the two that'll be up front for me, I reckon.
Koop Miners, which is, I believe, is the brother of the Koop Miners that we know and love. I
could do with him being half as good as what his brother is, and I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he does look quite good. Jonathan Silva for 4.something million. Good left back there. Argentinian. Then we've got Mario Gonzalez from LAFC, 240k.
Another striker,
Just another striker. And then finally, we've got Belko from Zelinka, wherever it is. Zelina.
I lost my reserve keeper, so I had to get another goalkeeper in. And this guy's just as good as what my first keeper is. So I'll let them fight it out. See how they get on.
Okay.
So at least if I get an injury, I know I've got a good one coming in behind him.
Well, tactically, changed it around.
I've moved it around a bit, but I feel that I've got a very good squad now. I've got a very good team. So I wasn't going to go 3 up front again. So this is what I've done, those 2 up front there. Good midfield. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this.
All right.
Could do some damage.
You got some youngsters coming through as well.
Yeah.
As have I. I've got quite a few youngsters I'm keeping my eye on. Jovan Zivkovic looks a very good player.
Yeah, he could be good in a couple of years' time.
Yeah,
he's 18, so yeah, I reckon when he gets about 20, I reckon he could be really good.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the other side of things in Vienna then. I am going wacky with a tactic, but first off, the transfer. Gosh, so much happened. I sold a player for £2.5 million to Sturm Graz. He was a left-back. The only reason why I did it is because then I could have something to bring somebody else in because I needed goals, and I had a backup left-back, so there we go. And the striker that I brought in, Anthony Modeste, who is 36. So
his natural fitness is quite good at 14.
Yeah, but I think he's only on a 1-year contract, so he wants to be a scout. So he's also a scout as well. Like, he's a scout for me as well. And his staff attributes: can he judge a player? Can he bollocks? So
he's as good as a scout as he is a player.
Yeah, far better. And then we've got a backup centre back who's come in as well. He went too bad. So, as I say, tactically, I'm throwing stuff at the wall here. We've got 3 at the back, 3 across the centre defensive midfield line, which we've also got a libero in there, and Dragovic, who can go into the DM. Then we got 2 in the attacking midfield slot and 2 up front. With Hoskovic, hopefully Modeste can score some goals alongside him. So far, 4 games, 0 goals. But what he has done is allowed Hoskovic to get 4 goals. So maybe there's something in that.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Because at the start of the season, it's been very bad. And we've been drawing a lot of games, including, of course, the game against you, Dad, where we actually chucked it away because we were 3-2 up.
Yes.
So that's disappointing.
I'm disappointed with that.
Yeah. Conceded 3 against me?
Yeah. With the strike force that you got, definitely. You only got 1 striker, really.
Yeah, well, here we go. So the rest of the team, I mean, I've never... This team has Cash Point, which looks like a logo in their logo. I've never seen that before.
No.
Let me know if you are a Rheindorf Alltag fan. What is the story behind that? Because it does seem like some kind of sponsorship deal is on your team's logo. But there we go. A nice draw to Sturm Graz, though. Hoskovic rescued a point in the end. Thought I was going to knock out Basel and get into the Europa League. Then we got stuffed 2-0 in the away leg, which means we are in the Europa Conference League.
They scored a really, really late goal.
121st minute. Yeah, gutted. But, hey, we've just picked up a 4-1 win against Admira Wacker, which is one of my favourite team names. So, a good start to the season. Well, I say that. We're in 5th place. Dad, your start to the season, though, been a little bit better.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, after of course, draw against me, you then went and lost in the Champions League playoff, which you've already knocked out Dynamo Kiev.
Yeah.
Not eliminated by Lyon, but that does mean you go in the Europa League.
It's a little bit better for me, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean I can't see us...
I wasn't expected to beat Lyon, so I'm going to take that, really. Put me into there, so I'm happy with that.
You've also beaten Admira Wacker 6-3. We got a nice sort of 4-1 win against the cup finalists here, who lost in that cup final. Drawing to Klagenfurt.
Something like that,
yeah. We all know and love them.
Yeah, of course we do.
And Sturm Graz, a nice draw against them away from home.
Good start, I reckon.
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
Well, the trouble is, we're trying to get out of Austria.
I'm disappointed drawing against you because I feel like all the pressure's on me here to get us out of this league.
Yeah,
and if I'm going to drop points against you, we got to organise something that you give me all the points you're going to give me that I can carry on.
Oh no, because that means you're 1 up ahead of me. So, right. So Salzburg has already started off very well, as you can see. They've got 5 wins out of 6.
Yeah,
unbeaten so far this season. You're 4 points behind them.
Yeah.
I'm 7. So not a great start. But Europa League, Dad. I mean, Man United's in there. Juve,
Juventus, Rangers, Sporting, PSV. Oh, they're
the
all
Rats
there.
are there.
Marseille,
Fenerbahce, Villa.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe next year.
No, not this year. I think I'll probably finish where I am now.
Yeah, good call. All right, then, season number 2 of the Race to 7. Let's see what we can do. The second fixture between us wasn't as chaotic as the first, but it still ended with the same result. And after Dad took the lead in the first half, Fisher scored the equaliser in a 1-1 draw. However, as the split was happening, I was lucky enough to be in the championship group as I lingered in 5th place. New signing Seiko Koita has been a revelation for Dad this season, and he scored 5 goals against Fenerbahce and helping Dad progress to the quarter-finals of the Europa League. After losing to the champions either side of beating me, the championship group looked like it was a Red Bull Salzburg one to lose again. But there was a legitimate hope for Dad to win another trophy this season, as he was about to face Juventus in the semi-final of the Europa League. And after an incredible 2-1 victory in Turin, he somehow pulled off a 3-2 aggregate win to reach the final and face in Marseille. With the game finishing 0-0 in the final after 90 minutes, it went straight to extra time where Mason Greenwood fired Marseille into the lead. But there's still time, and in the second half of extra time, Carranza finds the net to take the game to penalties. And the underdogs from Vienna continue to shock the world, as in the penalty shootout, they simply couldn't miss. And Nicholas Hedel eventually stepped up and saved Mason Greenwood's penalty for Rapid Vienna to lift the Europa League trophy. How the bloody hell have you done that?
I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how all those teams in it and I'm coming through and won a lot. I can't believe that. What a start that is.
That is absolutely mental.
That's one trophy in the cabinet. Get in there, my son.
Yeah, you're the first one to put a trophy on the board. The most annoying thing, and you were down to 10 men, the most annoying thing is we still can't leave Austria. No. One of us has got to win the league in Austria. Mason Greenwood missed his penalty after scoring earlier in extra time. Yeah. And of course, you equalised through Carranza in a very boring, by the looks of it, game in the Europa League in Bilbao, which is where the final is this year.
When the trophy comes, it's there, innit?
Yeah.
That's all you're known by, innit?
But, I mean, looking at you said you were going to be down the bottom. Only Rennes was the team who finished above you, with the likes of Man United, Juve in there, Villa.
Who did I lose to? Was it Rennes I lost to?
So you lost to one team, which was Sevilla, who are kings of this competition.
Yeah, they usually are, aren't they? Yeah.
So obviously you went straight into the round of 16 and knocked out Fenerbahce in an unbelievable 7-6 tie there, with a 6-3 second leg as well. The quarter-final was a massive win against Sevilla, 6-2 in that one, knocking out the Kings. The semi-final, you beat Juve 3-2.
I would deserve to go further.
You definitely did, yeah. Marseille knocked out Man United on penalties.
Yeah.
But hey, that's probably Greenwood as well, if you think. Yeah, he's probably scoring penalties in that one and missed in the final. But I can't believe you've managed to do that.
No, I can't believe it.
Who would have said the first trophy in this would have been a European one? I mean, fair enough. We still, as we said, we still can't get out because we are nowhere near Salzburg, who are winning with 55 points.
You say that, though? I only lost 2 games.
You did only lose 2.
3. Or was that in the...
It's both to Salzburg. That's the trouble. That's the trouble. You're losing to Salzburg. And then you're drawing too many, whereas they only drew 1 game. Seiko Koita's had a good season, though. Actually, both your strikers that you brought in.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that.
So you're keeping scoring a lot of goals. I can't believe none of mine's in there. Where's Anthony Modeste? I'm all the way down in 5th place. I had an awful time. However, what I did manage to do was get to the cup final. Which I think is the reason why I've qualified for Europe next season.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, Red Bull Salzburg gave me a Tonkin in the final there.
They won the league as well and the cup, so obviously
so
one place was available, didn't it?
And I also got to the semi-final of the Europa Conference League, which is not bad at all.
No.
I'm quite happy with how far I got in that.
I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
To go all the way, Christ.
Pauk in the quarter-final. We've knocked out Sion, which all games that I should expect to be winning. In the league phase, we actually finished in the same position as what you did, only losing Dynamo Kiev, winning 5 of the games there, beating Lons in one of them, whereas Lazio only managed to go on and, well, he didn't lose at all. In the final, it was Lazio and AZ Alkmaar. AZ Alkmaar come away with the win.
Surprise, yeah.
Fair play, Dad. First trophy.
I'm going to take that, yeah.
To add to the race, my top goal scorer was my defensive midfielder, which is a great sign. That's always what you want to happen, isn't it? Your top scorer was 30 goals, Seiko Koita.
I'm pleased with the top 3 there. Well, top 4, actually. There's a lot of goals.
Yeah, Louis Shaw there. 14 and 20.
Yeah, really pleased with that. So, yeah, good season. Pleased with that.
All right, going into season number 3 then, 16 million.
Well, this is what happened when you play well in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, did you sell anybody? No, still. So 16 million for that Europa League. I have 2.75 million. Wow, I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
You've got a bit of money,
That makes a change. And I've got a plus balance. That's why I needed the Europa Conference League money.
Definitely, yeah.
So if anybody's ever doubted that competition being, made for no reason whatsoever, this is why it was made.
Yeah.
This and to give West Ham a trophy. Don't let anybody tell you any different.
And probably Chelsea this year.
So £63 million in the debt still. Remaining is 40 million, so I've still got a way to pay it off. But hey, at least I've got some money. Anthony Modeste, by the way, brought him in. got a massive 6 goals all season. I know what you're thinking. He spoilt himself in this division, didn't he? 2 in the league. Not 1, 2. I'll tell you what. He should have been scouting himself, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he should.
I wonder what his scout reported himself. That player is absolutely bloody useless. His scouting player ability has gone down, I think. What an awful... And now I've got to keep him along as a scout. This is terrible. Anyway, right. Season number 3.
Do you think you need a striker then, do you?
Definitely now. Definitely need a striker now. Season number 3 is going to be an interesting one. Make sure you stick around and press that subscribe button because you don't want to miss what happens next and who can get that second trophy over the line, which has to be now getting out of Austria.
Yeah.
Because there's no way one of us is winning the Champions League before we're getting out of this. Because we have to qualify for that first, and neither of us are doing that anyway. But the Europa League struck off. Can no longer win that one myself. Dad, you've put your name on the Europa League trophy, but who can do it for the Austrian Bundesliga? Yes, congratulations to Dad, who strikes first, ticking off 1 trophy and a very unexpected one as well. But make sure you subscribe so you do not miss what happens next in the Race to 7 challenge. Dad took his Rapid Vienna side in Season 2 all the way to the Europa League final, however, winning the competition on penalties and claiming the first trophy of the challenge. And he now has the advantage in our race to win 7 trophies. So Season 3, I was looking to switch up my system in hopes of challenging for the Austrian Bundesliga title, as well as bringing in some experience in hopes that I can improve my strike force this campaign. Dad had also done the same, of course, and one of his first matches as European champions was to welcome my Austria Vienna side in another classic derby, where I thought I had pinched a win until Dad's new midfielder scored in the 91st minute to equalise. And although Dad ate a 3-1 loss to Salzburg soon after, he was still optimistic after his team went toe-to-toe with the Champions League winners Manchester City in the UEFA Super Cup and only lost 6-5. Right, we have another season underway here in the Race to 7, and Dad, you have been busy yet again. £9 million out, £25 million in.
I felt I scored enough goals last season, so all I'm interested in is defence and midfield, to be honest with you, really. If I can really strengthen that, because I have lost one of my centre defenders, I think, there. So, yeah, that's what I was more interested in.
I felt like that was a bit of a dig there. I was scoring a lot of goals, you know. My team did score goals. Did your team score goals? Because my team scored goals.
Yeah.
I don't know whether your team... No, I seem to remember they didn't score any goals, did they?
A lot of goals, actually.
How did that striker do again? He got 2 league goals, didn't he? The one that scouts himself. Fair enough.
He's a hell of a striker. It's a good signing by you.
Cracking signing, really, wasn't it?
I look at that and I think to myself, now I know why I don't sign 36-year-olds.
Yeah, I pride myself on being a very good football manager player because of the transfers I always bring in. That was up there with one of my best.
I'm reckon it
Has
was,
to be.
Yeah.
Okay, back to this then. £25 million. Let's judge you on how good your transfers in was.
Yeah,
Billy Cometio, £2.8 million from Dundee.
Like I say, defender, centre or left side. That's ideal.
Yeah.
They're usually quite hard to get. The left side of left-footed ones, so very strong with his left foot.
He's massive as well, 6'5".
Yeah.
Then we got Raul Torrente, £7 million on another centre back.
He's left-footed as well. Yeah. So I've got 2 really good left-sided defenders now.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased with that. Yeah.
And on the right-hand side, Monterisi,
I think this is probably
Italian.
I think this probably could be my best signing. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
And only costs £3.8 million.
Bargain.
Thomas Delaney, that's a lot of money for a 33-year-old, eh?
It is, but I think he looks a lot better than what your 36-year-old did, especially in the...
We're not going on about my 36-year-old. Anthony Modeste.
I'm quite pleased with it. I reckon he'll do a job for me for 2 seasons at least.
Okay, well, Toma Basic has also joined the club. Centre midfielder, left-sided. Looks quite good.
Yeah,
$2 million.
Yeah.
And then finally, for £4 million, Luca Della Torre.
I think this guy could be good as well. He plays in so many positions. I'm going back to how I used to play in the old days, isn't it? Good squad player.
Yeah. Yeah, that always got you far, didn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, tactically then, you're lining up in a slightly different formation to what it was last time.
Yeah, I've gone for something a little bit different, so I think mainly because of the players I've got in there as well.
Yeah.
Good, stronger midfield. I've got a good winger. And I still think I'm going to score goals.
Okay. Well, let's have a look to see what I've been up to on the other side. So, obviously I had no money, but I did get a couple of players out. Well, I had about £2 million, really, didn't I? Which I just chucked in all the wage because I didn't sign anybody other than Justin Butler for 77k. Really pushed the boat out there with Justin, the American 24-year-old probably won't see a game of football in his life after this. Horremans, centre midfield, centre back, right midfield, or right back, whatever. Can do a lot. Not a bad free transfer. Igor Zlatanovic. Great name, by the way. Serbian. Looks quite a good striker. I mean, if he scores more than 2, we've hit the jackpot, if I'm honest. And guess what? He scored 2 goals already in 3 games. What a player. Austria Vienna has never seen form like this in their life. The reason why I signed him was he got 16 and 18 in the last couple of seasons, and I thought, surely he can score a few goals over here. But then I decided to go for Neil Mopai. You don't like him, do you?
I hate to find that there's a Spurs fan that does like him. No, I don't like him at all.
I don't even think Everton fans liked him, and he played for them. But he came on a free transfer. He currently has 0 goals
that's how good he
in
is.
5 games. So cracking start. And then finally, we've got Jose Antonio Caro. I only have 1 goalkeeper, so I've brought in a second. So he has joined the club now. All right, so I'm setting up in actually a very similar tactic to what you've got, but I think yours is like here and there.
And the opposite way around, yeah.
Yeah, whereas obviously...
almost a mirror image.
Yeah, so mine's...
Like me and you, look.
Oh, yeah, we're so mirrored. 4-2-2 narrow with right midfielders. Basically what I've gone off it, because Gruber is a cracking winger that I've got who can play on the right-hand side. Can also play up front, but yeah, we've seen how bad my strikers are lately. We'll just stick you on the right instead. You might do better. So we'll see how that plays out, because the start of the season has been a lot better than what my previous seasons has been. Now, because there's only 10 teams in the league, you tend to find we play each other at the start of the season quite a lot. Yeah. It's the 3rd year we have done so, and this time it was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah. It just can't be at the moment, can I, at the start of the season?
No. I've managed to progress through to the Europa Conference League again, which I'm over the moon with, because we've seen how much money that brought in last season. Yeah. Just enough that I had a positive balance. And then the other results that I've got is not bad at all. The game that I lost was against Sturm Graz, but I had drawn a couple of silly ones. So, yeah, it's not too bad of a start. Over to your schedule, though, Dad. And it's looking a lot worse than what mine was.
That ain't good at all, is it?
No. You did play Manchester City in the Super Cup in an unbelievable game, by the way, who won the Champions League. I bet they couldn't believe their eyes when they were playing Rapid Vienna in the UEFA Super Cup.
Yeah, I took them all the way, though, didn't I?
Yeah, 6-5 is cracking result, to be honest. Well done.
Good game, Matt, yeah. That's about it right after that, isn't it?
A loss to Salzburg, a loss to Lask, a draw there to Altak, as well as a draw to Austria Vienna.
It's not a good start.
No.
Not a good start at all.
Not at all. So you're actually finding yourself in the bottom half of the table. Nearly, actually. Because it's I swear there was only 10 teams in the league like 2 seasons ago. But, all right, so fair enough. Okay, so season number 3 now we're going into. We've obviously ticked off one of the trophies already. Dad picked up the victory in that one, which means the Europa League is out of bounds. I cannot win it, and it counts towards the race to my 7. So let's see if one of us can cross off the Austrian Bundesliga. You are in the Champions League. Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, you fancy your chances, do you?
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you took Man City all the way. Who knows? Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Inter, Man United.
I think this time I definitely will finish round about where I am now.
God, that's generous. That is generous. Okay, let's see what happens season number 3. Unfortunately for Dad, he was a bit overconfident, and the Champions League campaign ended with just 1 win and 7 losses. He did pick up a 3-1 win when our teams clashed at the beginning of November in the league, and his Rapid side was just 3 points behind Red Bull Salzburg when they went into the championship group for the final 10 games. That unfortunately started though with a 2-1 loss at home to Salzburg in the first fixture. 2 more dominant wins against me did give him a bit of confidence that the title was still possible though. However, Red Bull Salzburg barely dropped any points and once again lifted the Austrian Bundesliga title. Dad did face them once again in the Austrian Cup final though in Vienna, and they scored the only goal of the game. Well, a good cup win, Dad, which is great for like the reputation, good for morale, but it doesn't count towards the race
the best
to
team
7.
in the league as well, so
yeah, they still went on and won the league though.
Yeah,
6 points above you.
I'm getting close, but just not close enough, is it? I'm knocking on that door every day.
And they're also up in the amount of players that are in these player statistics as well. Kiergaard has had a great season with 21 goals, most clean sheets, highest average rating.
I mean, they've had a good season. Drew 2, lost 2, and that's it. I mean, I was very close to them that drew 2 and lost 3. So
yeah.
That's the way it goes, isn't it? I'm getting closer. That's how I feel.
Yeah, true.
Just silly little games. You just can't afford a draw.
No.
So you got to win. Got to win.
You had a great time in the Champions League, though.
Like I said, where am I? Hang on a minute. Where am I?
Down there. One win against Basel, which was 5-0. What a result that is.
See?
And then you lost 7 other games.
Come on, what chance do I stand? Look at the teams I let to play against.
They could have beaten Anderlecht.
They didn't even give me a chance, did they?
Marseille, you played them in the final last year and beat them. Lost against them in here, though. Got stuffed by Newcastle.
Oh, well.
But I'll tell you what, though, Dad, one thing's for sure. You had a much better season than I did. Although I did get to the quarterfinals of the Europa Conference League. Didn't Lazio knock me out last year?
Yeah, I think
they did as well, didn't they? So that's a quarterfinal exit in this one. I mean, the league phase, I had to go through the playoffs this time round. I won 4 of the games there, lost 2. One of them was against Brøndby and Union Berlin. Knockout playoff round, I beat Dundee, but you just stole their best player. You stole their centre-back. So I was happy with that, 6-1. Went into the round of 16, knocking out Strømsgodset. I don't know how anybody knows how to say that name unless you're from Norway.
Yeah.
But I beat them 5-2 either way on aggregate, and that obviously led into the quarterfinal, where Sporting went on to win the whole competition. Fair play to them, beating Lazio, who I think lost last season in the final as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
To AZ Alkmaar.
Yeah.
So they've had a torrid time in that competition, haven't they? But yeah, I was knocked out in the second round by Wacker Innsbruck, some of the best names in Austria. But in the league, yeah, not so great. Finishing in 5th place there.
See, the pressure's still on me to do it, innit?
Yeah.
I think we're here until I win it.
Well, in the Championship group, actually, I went and finished in 4th place. So I don't really know how that works out.
No.
Because, like, when you're looking at it overall, it says that I was in... I don't know. I don't really know. Like, Championship group...
I think it probably just carries on with the points, doesn't it?
Well, you get half of the point, along with 50% of the points from the main league stage. So your points gets halved after the first sets, so that teams can't run away with it.
Yeah.
Like Salzburg probably has done every single year.
That's
and still
probably why I am looking like I'm so close to them. Probably ain't really.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the past positions, if you're looking at it, this was the Bundesliga, but then you were in the Championship group. Obviously, it's just the last 10. You just stayed there.
Yeah.
Whereas I jumped up and come back down.
Yeah.
I went up to 3rd place at one point. So, transfer budget for me for next season, after 2 seasons in the Europa Conference League, getting to 2 quarterfinals, is 2 million. And that is it. And I've still only got 25% of the transfer revenue. I've asked for that to change every single season, and it hasn't. And I still got a nice little bit of debt. But the goals, though, Dad, we've finally got some goal scorers. That isn't Plavatovic, who is a centre defensive midfielder, because Hoskovic has got 15 this year, and Zlatanovic has got 14, while Gruber on the wings got 13. They need to slow down, because else other clubs are going to want to come in for them, and I'm going to have to sell them and find more Anthony Modeste. Neil Mopai had a good year, didn't he?
Where was he to? Look,
3 goals, 5 assists. Do you know why I bought him, though? Anthony Modeste scouted him.
You can believe that. It's probably best mates.
Yeah, Anthony Modeste, who I think might still be my scout, unless I've just binned him off, because there he is. He's gone up to 4 for judging player ability. Yeah.
He must have given you one good player.
I'm going to have to put my trust in him more, aren't I? He's that good. I'm going to have to put my trust in him more. Anthony Modeste. I'm going to keep him around. Every club I go to now, I'm going to sign him.
Yeah. It'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Just bring him with me. All right, so not too bad, but what's your budget looking like, Dad? Well, the season that you had, 27 goals for Carranza.
Yeah.
Seiko Koita had 24, so 2 very good years for them. We mentioned Zivkovic beforehand. 12 goals he got this season.
Yeah, 15 starts, so he's not good now, isn't he?
Not too bad at all for the 20-year-old. And your transfer budget is 13 million. Well, you did have Champions League football. As bad as that turned out for you to be.
That's right, yeah, it's still good
to be
in
there. You
did
have
have
Champions League. Yeah, your debt ain't too bad either. So a good £13 million budget. So let's see who Dad brings in this summer. Dad's summer took an unexpected turn when Ipswich activated Koita's release clause, the player who scored majority of Dad's league goals in the last few seasons. His replacement was going to be Belgio, who he had on loan previously, but he rejected the move. So instead, he went for the Italian striker Marco Nasti, who would cost Dad £15 million in total to bring to Austria. I was also selling one of my best players, but by choice, as I'm looking to switch things up this summer. And I found just the striker to help me do that in David Strelic. who I signed for £1.7 million from Slovakia. Positive signs were there though, as both of us didn't lose to Red Bull Salzburg in the early starts of the season, and Dad even pinched a 3-2 win with a 94th minute goal. There's another striker though that Dad's picked up that might just steal all of the headlines this season, and for the right reasons. Well, Dad, with the exit of Seiko Koita,
yes,
for £11 million, which was out of your hands as well, release clause to Ipswich.
A bit disappointed with that, but
34 goals in 55 games he got for you.
I think I've done well to replace him, and I had that young lad coming through as well, so
yeah,
that was a Brucey bonus for me. But
yeah,
I think I've replaced him well.
I agree.
Yeah,
especially with this young man.
Yes,
Sean Nielsen Modebe.
Yeah, I mean, he does look good for 19, doesn't he?
Yeah, left-footed, cracking player.
Yeah,
good stamina, natural fitness.
And with the other young lad I've got as well at 20, so
yeah,
I've got a very young striker force here. So
bought Marco Nasty as well, £15 million. He's only 22.
Yeah,
he's got 2 goals in 3 games for you so far. So he's a cracking player.
I can see it coming again.
Yeah, and then Jason Van Duyven, on a loan from Atletico Madrid. And he might be the best of the bunch.
Yeah, I think he could well be. So I think got to go for it front again, and I love that.
Thomas Holes joined on a free transfer. Bit of option there in the centre defence midfield or centre back. Just Alex Vale for £1.5 million.
Good left back, isn't he? That's
a great signing for 1.5.
That's a couple of good left backs I think I've got now. So my defence is looking quite strong, really.
Yeah, and then £5 million spent on Alfred Duncan.
Yeah, I'm just going to hope if I can just sort of score more goals than them then, and possibly beat them a couple of times. Salzburg, get in there and win the league.
Yeah,
that's what I need to do. But I don't think you're going to do it.
Cheers for the. Hey, you wait till you see the transfers I've made this summer. Della Torre, you locking him in?
Yeah, I'm going to lock him in because I think he's probably the strongest attacking midfielder I've got. And you look at that, you can see why as well, really. But my strike force, I think, is going to talk for itself. 2 young lads in up there as well. I think it's going to be really, really good.
Okay.
Cooper Mars in there. Yeah, I think I'll have a strong side. I mean, that could be my strongest side so far, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Austria Vienna then, let's see. Well, I did sell a player for £1.8 million, Gruber, who I mentioned last season. What a right midfielder. I talked him all the way into the transfer market, if I'm honest. He left the club. But also, I lost on deadline day my left back.
Good left
really
back as well.
Annoying. Really annoying.
Probably one of your best players as well, isn't he?
Yeah, because then I only got £2 million because obviously I only get 25% anyway.
I forgot about that.
So, and it was on deadline day, so I ended up just not signing anyone.
You doubled your transfer fee that season?
Yeah, great. Brilliant. Only brought in £1.7 million. I did bring in a left back already, so it wasn't too bad. Omar Richards should join the club on a free transfer. But David Strelec, £1.75 million from Slovakia and played for Slovan Bratislava. Looks like a cracking player. He's also left-footed, 6'1", good off the ball, 25 years of age now, coming into his prime. Hopefully he can score some goals. He's already got 1. Then finally we got Philip Menzel. Again, I needed a backup goalkeeper, so he has joined the club. And tactically, I'm going for a 4-2-3-1 narrow. I need something this season, a bit of spark to hopefully give myself a bit of faith going into the next year if you don't manage to win it. That's my hope. Huskovic has actually started the season very well. He's got 7 goals in 10 games, but in my best 11, he's sat on the bench. I don't know how he scored the 7 goals because he's only got 10 for finish and 12 for composure, but still, not too bad.
Hey, you can't knock it.
Yeah, Neil Mopai still here, by the way. 2 appearances off the bench, 0 goals, 0 impact, 0 friends at the club. But there we go. Anyway, let's have a look at the start of this season because I've played a lot of games. So many games.
There's a lot of greens here, though.
But there's a lot of greens.
Yes.
Only 1 red, and that was in the Europa League, and we overcame that because we won 8-1 in the first leg.
Yeah.
So we were absolutely fine. I did draw to Red Bull Salzburg. It was a 0-0, but we still drew.
That's good. They dropped points.
Yeah. I've also drawn to this team here, FC Blau-Weiss Linz, who I've never heard of them. And I somehow drew against them there, which is bad for me. But we did go and beat Sturm Graz 2-0, which is a good start to the season. So we haven't actually played each other yet.
No.
But I've qualified for the Europa League. Oh, amazing. Doesn't matter if I win it anyway. Dad's already won it. Invalid. It would be good, though, just for the money. I think that's the most important thing. The money's better than what it is in the Europa Conference League. So that's all I'm hoping with anyway. Let's have a look at yours,
Great start
Dad.
by your team this season. So
Yeah.
Hopefully I got a good start as well.
Bit patronising, but
No, I really meant that. I mean, I'm pleased to see mine's that gut as well.
yeah,
So I've
you've had
already
a good start to the season as well. You've won every single league game.
Yes.
You've even beaten Red Bull Salzburg.
Yes, this could be the season.
94th minute winner
Never
as
let
well
go.
against them.
You drew
also
against them as well,
beat
so.
Galatasaray across 2 legs.
Yes.
Which was lovely. Then beat
Push it
Reims in the home leg.
I went to hell and 1-2-1.
What, Reims?
Yeah.
Oh, you lost 4-1 there. Yeah, got stuffed 4-1 there. So
Yes.
you've also dropped into the Europa League.
I'm disappointed there because, like you said, the money is better in the Champions League. So, and it's a trophy I could try and win.
Yeah, but then you did embarrass yourself in the Champions League last year. So
Yeah, I
maybe
did,
this is, this is a valid place for you to be honest.
I just want to get knocked out of it now. I've won it. I don't really need another one in the trophy bag.
No. Yeah, just get knocked out of it. Easy. All right, then. Let's see what happens in season number 4 of the Race to 7. Well, Dad's new star striker gave me an unwanted defeat, scoring a hat-trick in early October. And clearly, his side is better than mine, battering me in the cup and winning the second league fixture too. Leaving Dad with the advantage going into the championship group, as he would have a 2-point lead over Salzburg after the points were halved. However, my Austria Vienna side then decided to show a bit of fight in the last 2 remaining derby fixtures against Rapid. And the 2-0 and 2-1 victories against Dad turned out to be really bad for his season, as then he unfortunately dropped back into second place, losing the title by 6 points after a terrible championship group final 10 games. Well, as soon as he got to the championship group, you chucked it away.
April killed me.
You only won 2 in that last 10, 3, sorry, because you beat Wolfsberger at the start there. 3 in the last 10 games in that championship group.
And I lost you twice.
Threw it away. Yeah.
I lost you twice in that, and I lost by what? 6 points.
Yeah. So I cost you, because as you can see, going into that championship, championship group, you were top.
Clear.
Top
4
by 4
points
points.
clear with losing 2 games in that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it.
So
It was
very
in the bag.
bad.
In the bag it was. Cruising.
I did my job. I got the wins. I pulled myself into 3rd place. Come on, Luke. The fight's still alive for you to win in Austria. That's the dream. Because Dad is ballsing this up well and truly.
I mean, that's their worst season, isn't it? They've drawn 4 and lost 5, so that was their worst season. That's when you've got to jump in, and I was all over them into that last group.
Very
Chucked
poor.
it away.
Very poor. You did win the cup, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Beat Sturm Graz in the final there. Good for you. Round of 16 in Europa League against Marseille again. They keep popping up, don't they?
They're doing me in there each time because I beat them in the final.
Revenge there in the round of 16. Let's have a look, though. How did I get on in those competitions? I got to the knockout playoff rounds. That's not too bad. But Dad also knocked me out in the quarterfinal of the cup. So we've played each other a lot this season. Sevilla knocked me out of the Europa League there in the knockout playoff round, where you lost 8-6 on aggregate to Marseille. In the league phase, we were roughly the same again. I was 20th place, won 2 games, beat Roma and Leuven. Drew 4, which helped me. But both Prague sides. That's quite nice, playing against both of them. Home and away. And then away to Everton, their new ground, and got a draw. So that's quite nice. Lost against Sevilla in the league phase, and Villa, which obviously was a bad sign for me, because then I drew Sevilla in the next round. You won 3 games, Dad. Bran, Gil Vicente, AEK, 3 draws, a 4-all against Club Brugge. And lost 2. Eintracht Frankfurt, Dinamo Zagreb. Frankfurt went on to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
They topped the group, went on to win it, and beat Newcastle on penalties in the final. All right, Austria Vienna then. Surely that's like 3 good seasons in Europe now. 21 goals for Plavotic again, who's, let me remind you, he's the centre-back. But he is 6'6". He just scores so many goals. Still my top scorer in the last 3 seasons. Hoskovic got 19. David Strelic, who I thought would be really good for me this season, stopped at 14 and decided not to go score anymore. Dominic Fitz got 12 goals with 13 assists. He had an alright time. My transfer budget, 12 million, finally. But of course, I did lose 11 million at the end of last season. They probably feel sorry for me, and I still only have 25% of the transfer revenue, despite having £22 million in the bank. And the debts and loans is £30 million. Yeah. Dad, yourself, though, squad-wise, 28 goals from Carranza.
Yep.
24 from Zivkovic, who we mentioned before. The youngster has come through the youth academy. Looks better and better.
Yes.
He's also wanted, though.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? I don't really... I mean, I know you probably get quite a bit of money for him, but...
He's got a minimum fee release clause of 15 million.
I don't really want to lose him, though.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It's a lot of money, but I don't want to lose him.
Modebe has got 21 goals, so
Yeah.
again, not a bad start. Has he got any? No, he's all right.
Yeah.
He hasn't got anything in his contract. De La Torre, 11-11. Alex Vale from left back, 10 goals, 17 assists.
Really?
1 point whatever it was £1 million
Yeah.
you spent on him. Unbelievable. I cannot believe nobody is coming in for him.
No, that's right.
That's mental.
Yeah.
Marco Nasty, a bit of a bad season, considering you spent £15 million on him.
A bit disappointed, but then the other guys are scoring goals, so I don't care out of a lot of them who's scoring as long as it's going in the net.
Yeah, but if he scored, you
I
might have
know,
won the
yeah.
league.
Yeah, I know. Yes, someone. We're playing with all on him, and I'll sell him, man. I'll get rid of him.
Oh, yeah, good idea. The Neil Mopai of your team.
Oh,
Nobody likes him.
He wouldn't have got in my team.
Yeah. Okay, your transfer budget, $6 million. I've got a bigger budget than Dad. Get in. Love that. Right.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, season number 4 ends on a high for Omega Luke. Get in. Next season, it's all ours. It's Austria Vienna's time to pick up the Austrian Bundesliga. You've left it wide open for too long. Season number 5. You make sure you stick around, subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss what happens next. That's right, Dad remains 1 trophy ahead, but should he have won his second this season? Austria's turned out to be a lot trickier than what we expected it to be, but once that is out of the way, the race to 7 will well and truly open up and simply be unmissable. But season 4 was potentially a missed opportunity for Dad, who threw away a very good lead with just 10 games remaining. And I am just clinging on, hoping that I can capitalise on the fact that Dad's wasting opportunities and potentially win the title myself. What's making me even more confident is the signings I am making this summer are fantastic. Bringing in a great attacking midfielder as well as a fantastic centre-back option, which improves my team drastically. Dad, though, is going down the route of selling Marco Nasty, who he's only signed the season before to bring in more money. Although one of his targets decided to go to Rennes instead. And Dad had to sell for the £10 million signing of Batterina from Leverkusen, as well as bringing in Nicolas Dominguez from Nottingham Forest, a great acquisition for his rapid side. Alright, Dad, bit of a busy transfer window, certainly for you.
Yeah.
I had a bit of I say a quieter one. I didn't sell any players. Did bring in a few players. I sold Neil Mopai. Didn't really play him much. But yeah, he's gone now. A couple of players who have come in for quite cheap, to be honest. We've got Giannoulis from Augsburg, good left back from Greece there, good pace and ability there, and also Martin van Truber from a Slovakian team, Spartak Trnava. Good goalkeeper.
He is good, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go in as my number 1 this season, possibly. Well, he's got the number 1 shirt anyway. But there is millions being spent elsewhere. Zeno van Hoosen, who's you might recognise, used to be a bit of a wonder kid on Football Manager. Very good centre-back option there from Hertha. Then we've got Marko Malendovic, Serbian 22-year-old. And we're in season 5, so he is starting off the game about 17 years old. And he looks great. Yeah. Very good centre attacking midfielder or centre midfielder. And then finally we got Daniel Kivinda, who is from a Romanian side. He is Ukrainian, come through the Dnipro Youth Academy, but he was at Farol Constanta, who is a Romanian side. And I just like the 15s are in the perfect place for me. Got the pace, acceleration, agility's there, composure. I wish off the ball was slightly higher, but 15 as well for finishing. So he can score goals. He got 13 just last season in total there for Farrell. Hasn't played a game yet, and I'm thinking that needs to change. I might lock him in this season and give him a lot of game time. Because at the start of the season, we haven't played each other yet.
No.
It's been okay, but I have dropped points twice. Altak I've drawn, and unfortunately Grazia I've drawn. And tactically, we are going with the 2 up front, with 2 attacking midfielders and 2 DMs, including putting Malendanovic in. So Huskovic, I'm thinking, I just don't like how he can't finish, and I think it bothers me too much.
He wouldn't even be in my team.
No, even though at the start of the season, he's got 9 goals in 8 games. But I'd rather play Strelec.
He might be in my team.
Yeah, and Kavinda instead. I think that's what I'd rather do.
9 goals in 8 games. That's good, though, isn't it? You can understand why he's not dropping him.
Yeah. Michael Herman is getting better, though, and as an attacking midfielder, could be dangerous this season. But yeah, let's have a look at what you've been up to, Dad, because a busy transfer window, £28 million on the outs alone.
Yeah.
Jovan Zivkovic has left, £15 million, Marco Nasty for £9 million, and Jonas Auer for 3. But it's allowed you to bring in £37 million. And some recognisable names too.
And free signing from Real Madrid as well.
Yeah.
So
Danny
usually
Ceballos, ex-Arsenal.
Good. Oh, I didn't know that.
I always do.
I reckon you said this for half of the players that I signed that are ex-Arsenal. I can't sign that many ex-Arsenal players.
What clubs did he play for there?
He went on loan to Arsenal, yeah, all right.
Martin Baturina, £10 million from Bayer Leverkusen.
Really good centre midfielder this way, shit.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Both Fred as well.
Of course. Yeah. Zagreb is potentially one of the teams that we'll be looking for once we eventually leave Austria.
Yeah.
Mihailo Zvetovic, Serbian striker, always good.
Yeah.
Youngster, 20 years of age.
He's quite pacey as well, yeah.
Yeah. He's got 2 in, 4 for you already and an assist. So he started the season well as a striker, £1.5 million for him. Speaking of Dynamo Zagreb, £6 million for Lilian Brassier, who's a French centre-back who's left-footed.
Usually quite hard to get, so yep. Good signing, yeah. He's well experienced as well, 27 years of age. So.
Yeah. Ex-Rennes. And then Junior Krupi. Hey. Everybody loves Junior Krupi.
Of course we do, yeah.
One of my favourite players.
Good attacking midfielder and a striker if I need him to play up front as well.
Yeah, he's got his torn knee ligaments. He's out for 2 months. You got the curse there.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But I think the biggest signing for you this summer was Nicolas Dominguez from Nottingham Forest. A cracking player for you to pick up.
Brilliant. Defensive midfielder, just what I need to be brought into my team. And he can go forward into that attacking midfield if I wanted him to as well, really, if I wanted to train him in that position. So
yeah.
Right across the spine, as I call it.
Right, well, you are going for a very similar type of formation with the defensive midfielder and centre midfielder this time round. The centre midfielder being pushed. But obviously, you nearly won it last season until you gave away in the championship group.
Chucked it away.
But it's been a great start to you.
Yes, played a lot of games and I ain't got the reds there, so I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, only dropping points here to a 95th minute equaliser there from Hartberg. But we haven't played Salzburg yet.
No.
They are currently top of the league because they've won 6 out of 6. Ooh. This is the difficult point. Yeah. Yes, we are 5 seasons now into this, but Salzburg are still really good. And to win the Bundesliga, the Austrian Bundesliga, you have to do better than them. Yeah.
I mean, it just shows last season you've got to stay there or thereabouts this part of the season, but when you get into the latter part of the season,
you need to be beating them.
That's when you want to beat them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what they've done to me last season, so hopefully I'll do it to them this season.
Okay, well, season number 5 then. Will the shackles be released for us this year and we can finally leave Austria once one of us lift the title? Or will Red Bull Salzburg keep us here, prisoned in Austria? Which is not a phrase, really, I should be saying. But let's see what happens season number 5. Honours were even between Dad and I in the league matches before the split as we both picked up a victory each. For the first time though, it was my Austria Vienna side who was sitting top of the league going into the final 10 games. That was until Dad's side beat me just 2 games into the championship group 2-1. He also beat me in the Austrian Cup final with a 4-1 win in Vienna. The final league fixture between us though was another win for my Austria Vienna side as this goes down to the wire. It's 2-0 to you now, Dad, and we are finally released from Austria, but I well and truly threw it away.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Because as we went into that final championship group, I was ahead by 2 points, which meant when our points are halved, I would have been ahead by Red Bull Salzburg by 1 point. And unfortunately, it didn't end up that way. Still finishing second place.
Big turn, man.
3 points behind yourself, who is crowned champions.
That's like I said, you just got to stay there or thereabouts in the last part of that season. That's when you start performing.
Yeah.
And lucky enough I did.
Yeah.
Get in.
Okay, but it doesn't mean we can finally move on, and this challenge now is really going to heat up because we don't have to go to the same league anymore. No. We can go different directions.
This is where the fun starts.
And this is where it starts the race. But now you have a 2-trophy advantage.
Yes.
Going into that Europa League, I still cannot get over that. Because I can settle for going 1-0 down for this because you have been the better team, but it's the fact that you are now 2-0 up and only need 5 trophies and I need to somehow get 7 before. That's the difficult
and that Europa one is an hard one to win.
The hardest one.
Yeah. We always
You have
find
picked
that.
up the hardest one.
Yeah.
You got the top scorer of the league with 16. He's got the same amount as my centre attacking midfielder. Huskovic is also there as well. So Malindanovic has done very well for me this season.
Good season for him.
Yeah, I might, wherever I go, try and pick him up because he's got the most assists, the most player of the matches, and the same amount of goals as well as the highest average rating. He's had a great time here in Austria. So there we go. But it is time to move, Dad. And the question is, where will we be going?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, I mean, fair play. You actually won the double as well because you also won the cup and beat me in the final, which is 4-1.
Even
double
better.
whammy.
Yes.
Round of 16
Really good
by
season
Manchester City in the Champions League. Not too bad at all for you there in the league phase of that. You were finishing in the top 8.
Yeah, done
so
well.
for an Austrian side,
Yeah.
very good. Even beat Rennes.
Yep.
So
Some
losing
good wins there, to be honest.
which was Manchester City as well.
Yeah.
They went on to win the whole thing. So not too bad at all. But yeah, mine looks very bleak because it's runners up, and quarterfinal of the Europa League by Roma, disappointingly. So, but that's the last thing that I have to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I lost to
Now the fun
Spurs,
starts.
bloody hell.
Oh,
Now the fun starts, as you say, and if we're looking at jobs, immediately there are a few that pop up. There are a few that pop
yes.
up. I mean, Porto, Feyenoord, Chelsea. Straight away, you look at that and go, that's 3 you could go for.
Definitely. 100%. I mean, you must just chuck your name in for the app for all 3, really, innit?
Yeah.
And just see what comes up.
Yeah. I mean, let's have a look and a bit of a deep dive because there's a reason, obviously, we want to join these clubs, but there's a reason why they've just sacked their manager, including Red Bull Salzburg, by the way, just sacked their manager. So this means now, as we stated a while ago, I can no longer win the Austrian Bundesliga. It cannot count for me. That trophy is now off the table, which means my options are limited to other leagues. So I also have to leave Austria too. I can't stay and go, yes, I've won the Austrian Bundesliga. It's not how this challenge works.
Trophy's mine.
Yeah. Porto, who do have the top scorer of the league, finished somewhat 9 points behind Benfica. Vitória doing very well, finishing in second place. So if you were to join Porto,
It's not a bad.
you've got to catch Benfica.
Yeah.
They still got some good players. Timothy Weah is there. Eustaquio is also there. Finances £24 million budget.
That is good for that league.
Yeah, they've got a minus overall balance and
Yeah.
only 60% though.
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I
not
do like
too
the
much
Portugal
to get
league,
excited.
but Benfica's my team in Portugal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want to go against them.
Yeah. Then we have, this is why you shouldn't pick favourites. You should just have teams you hate. It's a lot easier, to be honest. Feyenoord in the Eredivisie, they have £68 million at the minute.
Wow, that is good for that league.
With a very good budget as well. In the Netherlands, of course, the Eredivisie, but they have just finished in 4th and are miles behind a really good PSV Eindhoven team.
Yeah.
So if
That
you're
is a
going there,
that is a worrying thing, but you've got a massive great budget there, so it's possible.
yeah. Got a couple of players who are showing up here. Yersin Shakon, who's up there with Felix Correa, who got the highest average rating. They have Alexander Mitrovic.
I do like him
as a
as well.
striker. He's
Yeah.
33 though.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
But Ajax have Emmanuel Omega
Oh.
and Omar Mamouche is at PSV Eindhoven. So
So you can
there's
see why you're there.
yeah, you can see why they've dropped down to 4th
Yeah.
place and they are struggling. And unfortunately, they're in Europa League as well, which is another trophy that is completely off the table as well, thanks to Dad's victory there. But would you go for Chelsea is another question. Now, Chelsea still have, by the looks of it, a very good team. However, they're in the Premier League, and as we know, hardest division possibly for the amount of clubs that you're going to come up against. And they finished down in 6th. Not too far behind, though. 15 points. Liverpool was champions. Manchester City were second, who obviously just won the Champions League, as we established. Still have Erling Haaland, who's only got 16 goals, by the way, which isn't a lot. Even Rasmus Højlund's got more goals. But Liverpool are champions at the minute.
I've just spotted something as well.
What's that?
Clean sheets, second keeper down.
Yeah, Diogo Costa
My favourite
is
keeper,
at
innit?
Chelsea.
I mean, if I go to the Chelsea, I haven't got to buy a keeper.
That's true. That's a detriment to why you'd want to go there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of your favourite hobbies.
What is their budget?
So if you're going to Chelsea, the finances are looking quite lucrative as well. £250 million in the bank.
I know you need
80 million budget.
You need a lot of money in the Premier League, but they got a big squad as well. Chelsea always got a big squad on there, so you can make that easy.
Yeah.
Another 100 on top of that.
Oh yeah, even like the likes of Nkunku and Raheem Sterling still there.
Well, Sterling is definitely. I'd sell him if I went there.
Yeah, they got some great players. I mean, Mateus Sule's there, over £100 million now.
Oh dear.
So a lot of options. But where are we likely to go? Even the likes of Standard Liège is a shout in Belgium, one of the biggest Belgian sides.
We're not looking at that at all, are we? Because of the name of the teams. But that's still a good show.
But that's going to be an interesting one this summer. First, of course, we've got to say our goodbyes in Austria to the two sides in Vienna. So let's get that done first. Yes, with Dad winning the Austrian Bundesliga, he goes 2 trophies ahead. But at least that means we can now both leave Austria and go hunting for our next job in hopes to win more trophies. And of course, I need to be smart. With the current 3 vacancies of Feyenoord, Porto and Chelsea all being available, there's 2 that I'm going to go for. First off, finances are looking strong for Feyenoord, and after a bad 4th place finish, I fancy my chances at utilising that to turn things around rather quickly. There's also enough about Porto that I'm seeing that I think it's probably a good idea to apply for there as well. Dad, on the other hand, was setting his sights higher with the risky move to Chelsea, given his 2 trophy advantage. Feyenoord, though, was very fast to get back to me for an interview first. And they wanted to know what the reasons were that I've never won a trophy in my managerial career. Dad was locked in, though, because Chelsea came back with an interview. And they were even swifter on bringing Dad in as their new manager for season number 6, taking him from Vienna to London. However, it wasn't long later that Feyenoord got back to me and offered me the job as well. So I packed my bags and I headed to Rotterdam, where I was surprised to find the 37-year-old Kevin De Bruyne in my side. Meanwhile, Dad was signing players for massive amounts of money, which I thought I would have too. However, upon arriving at Feyenoord, the £60 million I thought I had in my budget was a lie, and in fact I had a minus £11 million. Well, at least you got to spend money.
Yeah. And like I said, I sold a lot as well.
Yeah.
So 100 million there it is.
I think I was led up the false sense of security. They showed us the budget there when we applied for the job, and then when I got to Feyenoord, there was none. Ridiculous. But somehow, Dad, you have sold 123 million, allowing you to spend 266 million.
Yeah, I felt there was a few players that I probably wouldn't definitely use, and I'd get good money for, so I just got rid of them really. I bought in. I mean, this guy, we always know this guy will score goals for you. Whatever team you're in, if you can afford him, get him. He'll score goals for you.
Says the guy who hasn't actually scored.
No,
a goal
he hasn't
yet.
scored yet. So, I mean, I've just sort of like done Frankfurt over badly, and I really.
Oh, you give them a lot of money.
They're a very rich club, but they definitely need strikers now, don't they? Because this
El
guy
Yawahi as well.
This guy is formidable, and I'm pleased to get this guy in.
116
a lot of money.
pounds.
I'm learning from you. I've got the money. I'm just going to go big for certain players, and I needed 2 good strikers. I felt I needed sort of strengthening, so I've got it.
And then 2 fullbacks.
Yes.
Kevison on the left.
Yep. I mean, he might not
From
start.
Salzburg, obviously.
I'm hoping he'll start, right at the beginning, because I'm going to bring this guy on and make him a little bit better, I think.
Yeah. And then Michael Coyote at right back.
Yeah, we know how good this guy can be. So I think it's Reece James is usually right back there. Very, very injury prone, and that was right in my mind. I mean, Reece James is a very good player, and he'd probably keep this guy out of the team, but he gets injured so many times, so this guy's going to be just stood there waiting to get into the team.
Well, you've gone for your 3 up front with 1 in behind.
Yes.
You've got João Felix in there, and Nkunku, Wahi and Viper up front.
Very, very attacking side, which I always like to play in the Premier League. I always find if you play a very attacking, you're going to be in with a shout. So that's what I'm going for, really.
Even your bench has got Enzo Fernandez, Sule,
I just couldn't get him inside.
Sanchez.
I wanted to get, Fernandez into the side, I just couldn't get him in there.
It sucks to be you, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's so hard, Cole
Palmer on the bench, look.
He didn't even sort of come into my bench, into my first team at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
crazy.
What players that I have on the bench ready, just waiting to come in and might get any injuries really.
And you start the season with a few bad results, though.
Yeah.
But again, we highlight how difficult the Premier League is. Arsenal, City, Newcastle, and then a double bout of Liverpool.
Yeah, they knocked me out of the cup early on, but I'm not too worried about the cup game.
All things considered, though, you've beaten the Champions League winners 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, when I got that result, I was quite pleased. I mean, I lost to Arsenal, and oh god, then you come against City, think, oh, another hard game, and you beat them, you think, right, I'm right back into this again. Got a good result against Newcastle, and then just Liverpool.
Two trips to Anfield in 3 days.
Just done the double over me, so that's the way it goes, isn't it?
95th minute winner there.
Yeah, well, I scored a late goal.
86th minute there.
Yeah, they like scoring their late goals against me, don't they? So it's always a big game, that, isn't it? So, yeah.
But the funniest thing is, although we've gone to different countries,
we've got to play each other.
We've got to play each other in the first game of the Europa League. How hilarious. A game that, to our challenge, means nothing, but it means everything everywhere else. So that is quite funny. But let's have a look then at my final side, because again, they offered me a lot of money. Well, they didn't offer me. We seen that there was a lot of money, and then when we joined, where's that gone? Where did that go? Because there wasn't any when I got there. So Sergio Reguilon was the last signing that they made there, as you can see, on the 1st of December 2028. I didn't make that signing. So we just got to put up with what we got. So we're going for this.
You ain't got a bad side, though, when you look at it.
Got a great team.
Kevin De Bruyne is in there.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne.
On.
Yeah, might be 37. Might be his last year. Who knows?
He still looks good, doesn't he?
Still a cracking talent, especially in this league.
Yeah.
So who knows? Then we've got Fabian Ryder, who's also a great player as well. Correa, who we highlighted already on that left-hand side. Balogun up front with Mitrovic, so he scores goals. He likes to beat the offside trap. Go over this weird 3 at the back, but kind of utilising Xhaka on the right, so we've got enough to bang 5 in the midfield. That's kind of my thinking there. Jacob Modder is a good defensive midfielder, so he can cover that right back or right-sided situation with Beidou and Van Wiesel, who is a Dutch regen that's come through left-footed through the Feyenoord Youth Academy and looks quite good, to be fair. So if he gets some game time, might be all right. So we're kicking things off then in the Netherlands with some good results and one really bad one. Losing to NEC there, unfortunately, but we've got a 7-0 win against Almere, 1-0 against 20, 4-3 against Utrecht, and a 5-3 against Canberra before we've got to play one of the big ones. And look who else I've got to play. My old side, Austria Vienna. So Europa League is quite a funny one for me this season because I've got to play Dad and then Austria Vienna in the next couple of fixtures.
Next 4 games, you've got 3 hard games really, haven't you?
Yeah, really difficult. So we'll see then. Will we be picking up our first trophy in the Race to 7 challenge, or will Dad be taking a 3-0 head start? Or will either of us get any trophies this season? Let's find out. Yes, I really need to make sure I can complete the Netherlands fast, because I seriously can't afford Dad to take a 3-0 advantage should he win the Premier League with Chelsea. And Dad's team is incredibly scary as well when firing on all cylinders, as I found out myself in the Europa League when they battered my Feyenoord side 4-0. I couldn't even beat my old Austria Vienna side as I relied on 2 penalties to salvage a point. Unfortunately for me, Ajax was also really good this season, and just past the halfway point they've yet to lose a single game. Luckily, Dad was finding the Premier League much more harder than anticipated currently and in 6th place going into the new year. But while I was accepting my fate, not winning the title this season and enjoying what was looking like Kevin De Bruyne's final year as a player, Dad was making up for his 5th place finish in the Premier League with a different trophy as he reached the Europa League final once again and absolutely battered Lazio 3-0 to lift the trophy. But of course, you can't win the same competition twice. Well, Dad, it's no added trophies, but you've won the Europa League again. Well done.
I don't know how you keep saying it's an hard trophy to win. I find it quite easy.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you got to come up against the teams that you did.
With Lazio?
Yeah, you absolutely stuffed it in the league phase as well. Draw into Vitoria, winning 7, beating me 4-0. But as we said, irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
No.
My old side, Austria Vienna's done very well as well. They also finished unbeaten because I drew against them 2-2. And where was I? All the way down in 23rd place. So, but again, completely irrelevant. What mattered was league titles, and neither of us managed to win one. In fact, you finished down in 5th place, Dad, this season.
Not a good season, really. Lost 9
points,
games. I'm surprised with that.
16 points behind. 17 points behind Manchester United, who won the league.
That was a long way behind them, so I'm a bit disappointed with that.
Vitor Roque's
got a lot of work to do here, haven't I?
Yeah, Amad Diallo.
Yeah,
good God. 26 now, in his prime.
They're going to be an our team to sort of prize off that trophy, don't you think?
That's it.
So,
Do you think you've got what it takes to challenge them?
Well, to be honest, I felt that I had a really good side. I mean, they must have done. I just won another European trophy. So I've got to go for it now. What's my budget for next season? I mean,
you got 24 goals there from El Yawahi, 14 assists.
Two strikers I got in there.
Yeah.
So I got 46 goals off those two. So I've got to be happy with that.
But transfer budget for next season, £60 million with an okay wage. So it was enough to sort of like get in one world-class player, and then obviously you'd sell players.
I can sell a few players. I reckon I can probably get in about another 2 world-class players.
Yeah.
And that does change that squad. I mean, the United squad looked immense, but I can get close to that, I think.
All right. Well, in the Netherlands, it might have been even worse than me, though, because I got knocked out in the second round of the Dutch Cup, which is not a good sign already. I might be scraping on for my job here, because a third-place finish, although Mitrovic did win the Golden Boot, but again, I am miles behind Ajax, 16 points behind.
That's a long way in that league.
Considering I was only in third place as well. They only lost 3 games. One of them was against me, but I lost 7, losing too many games. And unfortunately, it just feels like, ooh, that's tricky. That is going to be a tricky one. What makes it worse is that my best player, my leader, if you will, Kevin De Bruyne, has decided to call it a day.
Yeah. And
he is going to retire at the end of this season. So we're going to be losing arguably one of the best midfielders of his generation.
And your strikers.
We've got to try and replace him. Mitrovic is 34 as well.
35, yeah.
He's wanted. Maybe I cash in. Oh no, he's only worth 1.8 million. So a lot of things to think about going into this 6th season. And... Well, 7th season even. I've got a minus £12 million transfer budget as well. So if I am to stick around, I've got to sell £12 million worth of players before I even consider.
How much percentage of the sale?
Bringing anyone in.
Fees do you get?
Still get 100 because they got £13 million in the bank.
There's a few players that sell that get 12 million in your league, though, isn't it?
That's the trouble. There's not a lot of value in the squad. If you're looking at value in the squad, I have to sell one of my best players here, which I don't really want to do. Because a lot of these players are the reason why we managed to finish as high as what we did.
Yeah, because you look at anybody that hasn't played a lot of games, that you got to sell 2 of them.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Okay, well, something to think about. But there's also a consideration of options, because we could decide to move with the likes of Dinamo Zagreb and Genk appearing.
Yeah.
2 teams who have finished in second place.
I mean, that's something to think about, isn't it? They finished second.
Yeah.
They're there or thereabouts.
Especially for me, knowing I need to get 2 trophies back on you already.
Yeah.
While you're there going, oh, I'm at Chelsea. I'm going, well, I could go to Zagreb.
I'm just looking at Zagreb, and they only lost by a point.
Yeah.
And go on their last few games. Their record at the end of the season.
Really bad. 2 Osijek, who won the league.
So that's where they would.
They threw it away.
They were
really.
top of the league until then.
Yeah, they threw it away. Genk also finished in second place. Another league where obviously it splits into a group and a championship group. Anderlecht won the league by 2 points.
Yeah. I think their record at the end wasn't too good neither.
Yeah, so
it's 2 good teams.
It's 2 good options. Yeah, they lost to Anderlecht on the final day of the season, which decided the title in the 87th minute. 2 good teams, £25 million, but we know not to trust this as much anymore after my trip to Feyenoord. So there's £25 million potentially there, and Zagreb £10 million.
Yeah.
So Croatia and Belgium are options.
2 good options there, really. Cause,
yeah.
Atalanta, I mean, even for me, really, because I'm thinking really the Premier League, it's an hard league to win, isn't it, really? And I haven't got the best team in that league. Or I've got a lot of money and I've got a really good team as a squad.
Go on, leave Chelsea. I'll join them.
I could jump into one of them team, and you never know. You could just win the league and bang,
another one.
Another trophy.
One season.
Yeah.
1 trophy.
One
bang.
season wonder gone in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's fun about this sort of combination, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the tactics, really, isn't it?
It's
where you go tactically.
And usually, I mean, it's close to a glory hunter in it, and I've got a lot of bad decisions in glory hunter, didn't I? I've hung around.
Your decision making's terrible.
Yeah, I've hung around sometimes too long. So when we started this challenge, I had it in my mind. I thought I'm going to say I'm not going to hang around very often.
No.
Have I been too long at Chelsea already? I don't know.
1 season in, he's calling it quits.
Yeah, but you've got to see something like that There's two good teams that come second.
Title challenging teams.
And when you look at it, they should have won.
They were just unlucky.
Yeah. So you could just jump in there. They got good budgets.
Whereas both in our divisions, we were nowhere near.
No.
So it's either you go, yeah, you 17. Yeah, you were 17 points. So you either go to one of these places where, you know, they were. I don't know how they managed to get their manager sacked because they were just really unlucky.
Yeah.
Or you stay where you are nowhere near. So
I don't know, man.
Tricky one. But that's why you've got to come back, because the race of the 7 is now really heating up. It's going to get very interesting. What would you do? Would you be applying for Genk or Dinamo Zagreb? Or would you be staying put at Feyenoord and Chelsea? Yes, let us know down in the comments, because the race to 7 is getting very interesting now. And it took Dad 5 seasons, but he finally won the Austrian Bundesliga, meaning we could both leave the country. However, along with his Europa League win in Season 2, that puts him 2 trophies ahead of me. And with a few interesting jobs around, I picked up employment at Feyenoord. But it was a tricky start with no money and chasing a really good Ajax team. Dad, on the other hand, went with a more of a riskier route to Chelsea. And despite spending a lot of money, was struggling in the first season, finishing in 5th place. With another minus budget this summer, I decided to take a look and at least apply for Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia. The fact that they only lost the title in Croatia by a single point means the risk would be low. I did, however, also apply for Genk, despite the risk being slightly higher going to Belgium. But when they responded and asked for an interview, I once again noticed the budget was in the red, and I decided to reject. It also put a doubt in my mind that going to Zagreb would be a mistake as well when they offered me an interview, despite history showing me that their dominance in Croatia was strong. Because I had signed some quality players for Feyenoord and already began working on a new system. Dad was about to receive the best bit of news though he could ever wish for in his emails. Because out of nowhere, Roberto Carlos popped up, contacted him and offered him an interview off the back of Carlo Ancelotti retiring at Real Madrid. And of all the clubs to become available and to be contacted by, they are at the top of the list. And just like that, they were approaching Dad and offering him the job to become the new manager. So it was a short but sweet trip to London without any Premier League trophies, and it's off to Madrid. Annoyingly, it means that there's a huge chance Dad completes Spain though, especially because Dad's side is stacked, full of world-class players that he has and over £600 million in the bank to spend. And he's already having way too much fun spending that money as well. Well, you're a little bit spawny, aren't you? Because neither of us even realised the job at Real Madrid even came up.
Come to me, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you win
Approached
2
you.
European Cups.
Yeah.
It makes a bit of luck. It makes a bit of change that I get the bit of luck with teams coming to me, though, isn't it? Because it's usually you in the last few years it's been happening to you.
Well, that goes without saying. If you're winning trophies, you get the luck. But you have had a huge budget to spend.
Yes.
600 million.
I was there and I thought, 600 million, and it didn't really register until I started looking at players, and I started looking at players and I thought, oh, I don't know if I can afford him. Oh, I don't know if I can afford him. Then all of a sudden I thought, hang on a minute, you got 600 million. I'll have him.
Yeah.
And I'll have him, and that's what I've just done.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, looking at the players that you have decided to bring in, Victor Osimhen, 233 million.
When you want to score goals, you've got to go out and get the best, and he is one of the best. So, yeah.
Lukeba.
Oh, just improved my defence straight away, didn't it? And
Saliba.
And then putting him beside him as well.
Very rare you see Saliba leave Arsenal.
I just tried it and I thought, I'm going to take it. I know he's going to give me a stick because he's an Arsenal player at this present moment, but I just thought, I'm going to try it. He never moves. And all of a sudden it was like, yeah, I'll come to you.
Yeah, well, he's one of the best centre backs in the game, so I can't.
Gotta be.
I can't call the Arsenal card on you.
I mean, I'm paying him 575k a week.
Yeah. Milos Kerkez, who's at Leeds for some reason. Fair enough. Great left back though.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo Jr.
I just thought I've got to get this one in just for the sake of just saying he's just come to Real Madrid.
He had money to burn. Yeah, he could blow 33 million.
And knowing he probably would never play for me.
More than all the money that I could probably spend, and he probably would never play.
Imagine the shirt sales I'm going to get out of that.
Oh yeah. And then Vanderson at right back as well. Finally, a very good attacking
I've
right
just
back.
completely changed my whole defence really, and what a strike force as well. So yeah,
going for it front again, are you?
Yeah.
It didn't work at Chelsea though, did it?
It didn't work at Chelsea. But when you got these type of people playing up front though, you've just got to play them, haven't you? Really? I mean, I was like that really because I know they're really good wingers as well, and you could. And I wanted to drop them just down below, but they're not very good in the position, so they either go out wide or play up front. So that's where I've gone. Just go for it.
Vinicius Junior is. Then Mbappe, still 20 pace and 20 acceleration.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still got Jude Bellingham in the lineup.
And that's the thing. I've got to do it now. I've got to do it in the first couple of seasons, and while they're really still good. So that's what I've gone for.
Well, you're 2-0 up. You could be 4-0 up by the end of this season.
I'll be very disappointed with that team there. I'll be very disappointed if I don't win one out of the 2 trophies that I'm going for.
Yeah, La Liga and the Champions League.
Yeah.
Schedule-wise, though, you have lost Espanyol.
What's going on there?
Oh.
I mean, when you look at the games I've played in,
6,
5-1, 5-6, and all of a sudden I lose 1-0. What's going on? They all went on strike then, or something, did they?
But you have also, Dad, got to play against your old club, Rapid Vienna, in the Champions League. A season later, but there we go. And Chelsea.
Oh, no.
Both of them.
That could come back and bite me.
Yeah, that could come back and bite you. I would absolutely die if Chelsea did the double this season.
Yeah.
But obviously, the jobs that came up that we mentioned, I was tempted. In fact, I did apply. And then I started getting my transfer business done. And I realised I really wanted to see it out. And it might be a big mistake. We mentioned how you made mistakes in other challenges like the Glory Hunter, where you stay too long because you get a little bit stuck with the team that you're building. Dinamo Zagreb was there asking for an interview, and I turned them down. Genk come in asking for an interview. I turned them down. And I've decided to stay at Feyenoord. But the team that I have brought in, I do think is really good. So I sold the likes of Luis Jr., which was the goalkeeper, Sauer as well for £13 million. And I have brought back, of course, Justin Bilo, who was the goalkeeper at the start of this with Feyenoord. He's got the classic August injury curse, out for 8 weeks with a fractured lower back, whatever it is. We got a good backup, we ain't too bad. But I've also got Milenkovic, who's a brilliant centre-back, really improves our centre-back option. Luis Suarez at Almira.
Yes.
Again, a cracking striker who can score a lot of goals in this league. Yusufa Moukoko, another striker that will score goals. Probably got the injury curse as well, out for 3 weeks. Alvaro, £6 million. Really good centre defensive midfielder. And there's still 2 more there. Traskiani, another good centre defensive midfielder. Nugent that's come through. He looks absolutely incredible. And then finally, we've got Yuki Kajikawa, 19-year-old centre-back. 6'1". Lacks a little bit of positioning.
I reckon his
but
physical's
really
that good at 19.
Yeah. Looks very good indeed from Japan.
I mean, I can understand why you've done what you've done.
Yeah.
Your signings are absolutely spot on.
It's made this team look really good. And they're already gelling well together.
Yes.
You can see I've changed formation. Obviously losing Kevin De Bruyne and a couple of other players. I've gone back to the 4 at the back formation. Ryder thrives in this shadow striker / attacking midfielder role. So why not put him in there? He was up requested for £60 million. That wasn't me transfer listing him myself. I wasn't doing the Aaron Hunt. But hey, we still got Mitrovic. He's got 6 in 7 at the start of the season. We've started the season very well, and we've been eliminated from the Champions League, unfortunately, because of penalties, but we have won every single game, including in the league, beating Ajax.
That's a big result.
Now, they were a player down within 18 minutes.
Still
that
3
changes
points,
games, but that's 3 points.
Yes.
That is 3 points. Played against Dinamo Zagreb earlier on, of course, one of the teams I could have gone to. Lost against them in the first leg, 2-0. Battered them 5-0 in the second leg. Made me think, all right, I've made the right decision.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, what's going to happen here?
That's interesting, isn't it?
Either I've really completely wasted a chance of gaining a trophy by not going to Dinamo Zagreb. I think Zagreb more than Genk. So I think Genk has Anderlecht there as like another foil. But Zagreb
when you
normally dominate the Croatian
when
league.
you look at their finish of the season, they did chuck it away.
Yeah. Osijek's good, but they don't dominate.
No.
Anderlecht has the potential to dominate instead of Genk. Or Club Brugge, for example. There's other options. But yeah, passing up on the Zagreb one was a big choice. Bold move. But I could come out of this being 4-0 down and look like a right silly tit. So we'll have to see. Let's see what happens this season. Will I be made to pay for that big mistake not going to Dinamo Zagreb? Or maybe Dad won't win a trophy this season. Stranger things have happened.
Yes.
Although they are at different levels, I did manage to beat the Zagreb side in Europa League. And Dad absolutely battered his old Chelsea team 4-0 in the Champions League. Halfway through the season though, and Dad is not only leading La Liga by 5 points, but he's also topping the Champions League phase too. And I need to make sure I don't go 4-0 down, and I need to be better than Ajax. And beating Ajax again certainly helps that, and I'm now top of the Dutch Eredivisie by 11 points. Thankfully for me, Dad came across Liverpool in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and it went to a penalty shootout where Tchouaméni was the only player to miss. And there was no stopping either of us from lifting our respected league titles. Oh, penalty shootout could be the difference here
Liverpool
and allow
again.
me to cling on.
They done me when I was at Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah. A semi-final second leg penalty loss at the Bernabeu.
I really felt that I was going to go on the whole way and win that one.
Yeah. I mean, the league, you absolutely stormed it.
I should do with that team already, shouldn't I?
105 points.
I mean, look at my goal difference. Lost one game.
Which is the start of the season.
That's the start of the season, yeah. 124 goals difference. Wow.
39 goals from Mbappe, 23 from Victor Osimhen.
I mean, getting
mint.
that close, I am disappointed really that I didn't win the Champions League as well. But
yeah,
I've got another trophy in the bag. That's what I went there for. Well, they come to me and I've done the business for them.
Yeah, that's another league title. That puts you 3-0 up. Well, it would, but I of course won the title with Feyenoord. Come on. In fact, Ajax dropped off. They didn't even finish in second place either. They finished down in third place.
Wow.
Won the league title by 5 points. Very happy with that. Actually,
You're
not happy.
well.
Relieved.
Yeah.
Just
you could have been in a lot of trouble, couldn't you?
Yeah. Joshua Zirkzee back in the Dutch league, which is quite an interesting one, actually. The 19 goals there with Omega and Mitrovic. But yeah, that means it is now 3-1 in terms of the trophies. Dad is ahead, but
Big decision, you got it right.
it means, yeah, I stayed put and got the Netherlands out of the way, which can be a difficult one to win because of Ajax, because of PSV. Getting that Real Madrid job is crucial for you. That was mental, because if we're going to Spain, it's either one of those jobs that you have to kind of get. It's annoying, but they approached you. It's one of those things.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how Chelsea did get on, because in my head I was staying.
Yeah.
You know, they approached me, Real Madrid, and I think you'd be silly not to take that on when you're ready.
Yeah, they finished in 4th, Chelsea.
Finished 4th today. So yeah, I'd done right by moving then.
Yeah,
so.
you had luck. Luck on your side there. Yeah. But now you've got an option, really, because if I were you, I know what I'd be doing, but are you going to resign and go for the next league title, or do you stay because you probably have one of the best teams in the world?
And that's the big problem.
And go for the Champions League.
What is the jobs available at this present moment?
So, weirdly enough, Zagreb is there again. Because yet again, they finished in second place behind Osijek, and again by just a win away. And if we're looking at their results towards the end of the season, which again goes into a championship group, they actually beat Osijek this time, but chucked it away against 2 other sides, and chucked it away on the final day of the season.
So they chucked it away again, so they're thereabouts.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's the only team that I see of interest there. But like you said, I've got the best team. I feel I've got the best team in the world at the moment, and they're all in their prime, really.
Yeah.
I'd be silly, and I'll bet you any money I've got a big budget again.
Oh, no doubt. Not that you need it.
No, that's the thing. But
400 million.
So in 2 seasons, they give me 100 million.
Bloody hell.
What was that? 600 million?
Over a billion.
Yeah. I've never spent so much money and enjoyed myself.
No.
I think I'll be staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, you just can't go. There's nothing there that sort of makes me want to move.
Yeah.
Really. Liverpool, they're insecure. See, that'd be interesting.
Liverpool with Arne Slot, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one if it came available.
Yeah.
So that'd be, I think, looking at that at this present moment, Liverpool would be the only team that I would move for.
That all depends, though, on this. Because they've just reached the final of the Champions League, and against Barcelona. They win that, probably he stays.
Yeah, you stay. I would say he would definitely stay. So
yeah.
I could really do a Barcelona do me a favour then, really, couldn't I?
Yeah. That's it. But I think it's obvious what I'm going to do. I'm going to be leaving. I'm definitely going to be applying for Dinamo Zagreb, because that is an option that out of all of those clubs there really stands out as potential league title next season. The first thing, like straight away, bang, league title, and get Croatia out the way if I possibly can. And then that gives me at least 2 then. Hopefully you struggle in the Champions League again and it's another wasted season.
Yeah.
And then it's right on your ass again then with a 3-2. So we'll have to see what happens this summer and whether there is much movement. After finally getting myself on the board with a trophy, I'm still 2 behind Dad. So it's time to hand in my resignation at Feyenoord and work on my next move, which has got to start with applying for Dinamo Zagreb for a second time. This time though, when the interview came about, I wasn't going to turn it down. And they forgave me and offered me the job as their new manager in hopes that I can bring back the league title. So 2 seasons in at Rotterdam and my journey now takes me across to Zagreb, where straight away I identify a weakness up front and signed Sekou Mara, who was transfer listed. And he was slotting perfectly as my spearhead in a 4-2-3-1 wide with some fantastic wingers who will create lots of chances for him. Dad was still keeping himself busy at Real Madrid as he looked to replace the retiring Courtois with his old goalkeeper from Chelsea, Diogo Costa, as well as also toying with a new system in hopes to win the Champions League this season. When the season began, I was repaying the trust in Zagreb's board and fans for selecting me as manager as we beat Austria 3-1 in the league. Coupled with the extra £500 million that Dad spent this season, his Real Madrid side is out for blood in season number 8. Right, well, your decision to stay then, Dad, you had a lot of money to spend. You also made £112 million.
That was always going to be the same
from players being sold.
If I've got players in the team that are not being used or get to a certain age and know what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of them. I like the money in the bank more than I like the teams in the players in the team.
Well, you've brought in some familiar faces.
Yes, I mean, I brought this guy back, but I just felt really I didn't want Vinicius Jr. playing in that position. I wanted him somewhere else. So I felt that if I got someone to play in that position on the right wing, Vinicius Jr. moves over across, and then Mbappe goes as a striker. That's what I was thinking. Really.
Yeah. Sold for £69 million a few seasons ago. Bought for 186. PSG seen them come in. Renato Luiz for £35 million.
What a
Brazilian
right back. Yeah, 21.
Good.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then we got Diogo Costa, your old friend.
I had to just go out and get him.
Well, Courtois was retired.
Yeah, so that was the problem. I needed another goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And I know which keeper I'm going to go for. When you got the money, you can afford any keeper. That's the keeper I'm going to go for.
And then Josko Gvardiol from Manchester City, who plays centre-back or left back.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer getting this guy in as well, really. So my defence now, I think, is even stronger than what it was last season. So,
of course, he originally came from my club. My new club, Dinamo Zagreb. More on them in a minute. Going to a 4-2-2, Dad.
Yes. And like I said, there's Vinicius Jr. out on the wing. And Mbappe up front with Oysterman. So what a team that looks like now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Starting the season well, but of course that doesn't matter. It's all about the Champions League fixtures.
I've got one cup to go for, and that's all I'm going for, the Champions League. And I look at the fixtures there. There's a couple. I should just breathe through the league phase, really.
Okay.
It's all about the end part of the season from about February onwards for me.
All right, well, let's have a look to see what I've been up to in Dinamo Zagreb, because after joining them, they gave me a nice little bit of a budget, and I spent £3.2 million on Sekou Mara, so bringing him in as a out-and-out striker for me. He's got 7 goals in 6 games to kick things off this season. Very happy with that. Valentin Carboni on a free transfer as well, I think is a cracking pickup, that. Fantastic player. And then Lucas Holter, again, a free transfer. Decent centre-back coming in. Not too bad. He's also got an injury. How long is that out for? I suspended, that's right. I thought you got the injury curse already. So, not too bad at all. Starting things off here in Croatia, we're going with a simple 4-2-3-1. We've got the likes of Borges and Teller on the wing, so they can cause trouble and hopefully supply Sekou Mara with some goals. But obviously, Osijek, the title winners of the last couple of seasons, they have started the season bad. Whereas I have won 7 from 7 already this season, including beating them 3-1. This is exactly what I needed. This is what I needed, because a title win here puts the pressure back on, and it means Dad cannot go to Croatia, which then starts limiting the nations, which I know he will hate going to. I'm looking at you, Italy.
Yeah.
So, let's hope that this season I can easily cruise across the line and win the Croatian League, while Dad struggles in the Champions League That's my hope. That's my plan. Let's see if it happens. Well, one thing's for sure is that Dad's Madrid side will cruise through the league phase before the knockouts even begin. So I've got to make sure I win this Croatian league, and it's looking ever so likely despite there being a lot of games to play in the second half of the season. But another 2 more wins against Austria, and that's us cementing our chances of completing the task this season. And still, with games to play, we are crowned champions of Croatia and 19 points clear at this point. Dad had the league title wrapped up in Spain as well, but it was another English side in the semi-final of the Champions League. And he dumped Arsenal out across the 2 legs to reach the final. In the final, however, Manchester City won a penalty just 8 minutes into the match, and Erling Haaland stepped up and smashed the post. From there on, the match was clearly in control by Real Madrid, and Mbappe scored just 2 minutes later. Early in the second half, Real Madrid doubled their lead through Gvardiol against his old team, and City managed to pull one back to make for an early finish, but Dad's side held strong. All right, fair play, Dad. Champions League.
Played off.
Yeah.
2 decisions I've made this so far. 2
good
ones.
decisions.
Yes, get in.
You're right. Yeah. And that puts you 4-2 up after me winning the Croatian league. So it's all to
the
play
winning
for.
goal as well for me. Like.
Yeah, new signing against Manchester City.
He gets in.
And Erling Haaland missed a penalty as well. Oh, they had a bad day at the office, did Manchester City. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. Thomas Tuchel was the manager.
We only played for 2 European trophies, and I got both of them.
You did, yeah. 2 European trophies, 2 league titles. You actually did the treble this season.
Yes.
Won the Copa del Rey as well. So
I mean, really, I should have done with that team. Really did.
Stuffed Barcelona in the final.
Such a good side, weren't they?
Yeah. But now it's time for you to leave. It's time for you to go.
Yeah, I'm not hanging around no more with them.
No.
Nothing there to win for them.
No, which is...
Good luck, Real Madrid.
Yeah. But that means Spain is off the list. So, interesting, really. So is Croatia, because I've managed to lift the league title by a mile.
Oh, then you just...
1 game was lost. Lokomotiva, which is absolutely fine. Osijek came nowhere near me. Only conceded 21 goals as well. Fantastic season that we had. We also won the Dutch at the Croatian Cup, beating Sevest 4-1 on aggregate. Lovely stuff. So a domestic double does wonders, obviously, for my reputation, as well as obviously the league titles that I've won as well. So that puts us in good stead for getting a new job. But the big question everybody's going to have now that Dad is 4-2 up, what jobs are available for us to jump to? And if we're heading to the job security list, there's some options, and it's in Italy. And that is...
Oh, no.
I love it. Juventus and Napoli. Which, I mean, I'm applying for both. There's also Genk. Genk's there too.
Yeah.
You could go to Genk.
4th. They had a bad finish of the season.
They did have a very bad finish. We know how good they can be. Anderlecht have been dominating, though, at the start. God bloody hell, the league table there. They were down in 8th. The championship group, they... Where were they? Were they in the second phase group? Wow.
Well,
that's a big drop-off.
I think that's just gone no-no for me there. There's a big no-no
Wow. They got some cracking players, though. How much money do they have? 33 million.
Dear.
33 million. But Genk has one of the biggest clubs.
That is an option then, really, isn't it? That's a big option. Got good players, good money.
But
I'm looking at Juventus and
not a lot of money at Juve.
I always struggle in Italy, and I'm thinking if you go there, it could be hard for you there, and I could just go to Genk. And I'll tell you another team I'm looking at, and you're going to laugh at me with this. They're insecure. I think they're insecure. Rennes. Zidane. They finished 5th, but they had a bad finish of the season as well. Look.
Yeah.
And I reckon, if I leave Real Madrid, I could see Zidane going to Real Madrid, taking my job. We could just do a straight swap.
Yeah. I mean, it would lead for a big manager merry-go-round.
Yeah. And it's... Ooh. And that's the other thing as well. You could just sit there and wait and see what happens, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You could sit there and wait.
And jump on something.
Yeah. Because
as it happens.
Me resigning from my job is going to do a massive, like you say, merry-go-round about.
That, if you think about it chucked everything into contention the last time the Real Madrid manager left.
Yeah.
Because obviously they pitched you from Chelsea. Then obviously Chelsea took Luis Enrique, who is now still there. Look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that means he left PSG. Really thinking on it, I should have gone for the PSG job back then, but it was one of those things where I was so set on Feyenoord, and it's not like it didn't pay off.
Yeah.
But it's how long those jobs come about.
The French league, though, it's
PSG, or you're struggling for a while.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I mean, that's the only thing that puts me off going to Rennes. I know Rennes and Lille always got a good side on Football Manager, haven't they? And
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Big
finance.
budget.
It's a big budget as well, isn't it? So, how close did they come?
Well, they're finishing 5th, so it's some way off, surely. PSG are winning the league, 87 points. 11 points ahead of Nice. 61. Some way off.
It's a long way off, but PSG lost 3 games.
Yeah.
That makes it interesting. Who do they lose against?
Rennes being one. Nice.
So they lost against all the top teams, really.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because PSG don't lose many games.
No.
So if you can get them to start losing games, you're in with a chance. But like you say, it's a one-team league most of the time. But I just don't like Italy.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
I mean, if we're looking at the leagues left, we have the list. Nothing, by the way, has come up in Turkey or Portugal for ages that I've seen.
No, because Portugal, I do enjoy the Portugal league.
Yeah.
And if you got 3 good teams in Portugal, maybe 4. Turkey is one of those leagues as well, and it is.
Yeah.
You got to grab
the
the top 3.
Besiktas, maybe. Or to play for, though.
We haven't been to Germany yet, neither.
No, Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, Portugal.
There's still some good
Turkey.
football there to play yet. Still some good football there.
Very interested then in the race to the 7, which means you can't go anywhere. You gotta subscribe. Make sure you don't miss it when it comes out for the next one, because God knows where we will end up in this very interesting campaign and challenge, as Dad now goes ahead 4-2, meaning he only needs 3 trophies left, but that means at least 3 different league titles. Yes, as 2 trophies are claimed in season number 8, the pickings of what's left is reduced. Doesn't stop the fact that Dad is 4-2 ahead though, and over halfway in the race to 7. And so that brings us to present day, where both of us are resigning from our jobs with the pursuit of the next in mind. I went ahead and, despite the bad finances there, applied for the job at Juventus that was free in Italy. Dad opted to stay away from Italy and wait things out, as I was waiting 26 days before I eventually was given an interview. Napoli, another Italian side looking for a manager, came offering me an interview as well, but I declined. Massive jobs including Real Madrid and Barcelona was still available, so Dad was hoping a manager from a big club would take those roles, with the perfect scenario being the Bayern Munich or PSG job becoming available for him to snatch up. Real Madrid decided to go with Zidane yet again, and he left a Rennes side which he was at, which wasn't much of an appealing job to Dad, and they had bad finances and an average side. Eventually though, I was called to become the Juventus manager, and I was happy to accept my new role. It finally happened though, as Mikel Arteta took the Barcelona job and left Arsenal free, meaning a perfect opportunity for Dad to return to London, and he arrived and applied. He was then chosen to become the new manager and inherited an almost untouched Arsenal team with some of their best players still here 8 seasons later, such as Bukayo Saka, Odegaard and Declan Rice. And while I was scrapping around Italy with no budget whatsoever to bring in any new players, Dad had yet again huge money to splash around and bring in multiple world-class talents to improve his shot at the Premier League. Dad, quite a lot of jobs came up. We've of course moved clubs.
Yeah.
You've gone back to London.
Yes, I have. Yeah, back to the Premier League.
To Arsenal.
Oh, I looked at this job and 4 or 5 times I said to myself, "No, I'm not taking it. No, I'm not taking it." It's all about winning trophies, mate. So my pride had to drop, and I've applied for the job, and fortunately, I got the job.
Yeah.
So, hence why I'm wearing this shirt.
Yeah. We always knew you were destined to be here, but there we go. So you made a couple of signings, obviously bringing in quite a lot of money as well. So
I think everybody knows what Arsenal need.
Yeah.
Should I say?
This is a long time in the future from that, but still.
With this team, I think they still needed it.
Yeah, Renato Luiz was a decent right back. She had a big budget as well. You had a massive budget, £400 million spent. Victor Gyökeres is another one.
Yes.
Very good player coming in.
Got to get someone to score the goals. You can't win without scoring.
Fatakanti, though, was at Amadora, which did surprise me.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. A really good midfielder.
It's a good buy, this was.
So,
Really good buy.
£46 million up to 49. But then Milos Kerkez, who was at Real Madrid, of course, after you signed him.
Yeah.
So that's two Real Madrid players that have come in. And then we've got Diamonde, who is one of your favourites to sign.
Yeah,
he was at Bayern Munich.
I mean, now, you look at my defence now, it's so good, isn't it?
And then finally was Nelson Viper, another player that you previously signed.
Yes.
You signed him to Chelsea
I did,
for £73 million, and he's barely played since.
And that's what I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
He is a good striker, so
He was
get him
loaned
in.
out last season.
Yeah.
Loaned out the last 2 seasons, in fact.
So I think I've just made him really stronger going forward, and also the defence are absolutely solid now, I feel. So
Yeah.
And a good midfielder to be in there with Declan, I think.
Yeah, the likes of Ben White has left the club. Kivior has gone. João Mario, who was there, £22 million on this guy who's gone to Brentford. But yeah, you're rocking a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
We've got Martin Odegaard being locked into that position.
I'd
in
lock him in
centre
because he's
midfield.
such a good player in that position, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Yuan Yeri is still good, but yeah, he's a better player there. So if you're looking at first 11, it is going to be pretty much that. So Fatakanti and Rice in that midfield.
And none of my forwards have gone in there.
No, it's still, I mean, considering we are, season... I can't even remember how many
9?
seasons. Yeah, season
8,
9 this
yeah,
is.
something like that, yeah.
The basis of this Arsenal team, still Havertz, Martinelli, Saka,
Lewis
Skelly still there, Rice, Timber is at centre-back, he's only 30. Kajikawa is a guy that we are not familiar with. He is, of course, a new gen who actually played at Feyenoord. So, did I sign him? I can't remember. I've been on holiday. I can't remember whether I did or not. I think it was. I think I signed Kajikawa. So, a lot of players coming in. Obviously, Gyökeres is coming off the bench on this bit, but I very much doubt he would. Lewis Skelly actually starting as well. And you start the season really well.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you look at that starting 11. There wasn't many of my new players in that starting 11, but I was quite happy with that because the squad is so much stronger, and that goes to prove it. Winning these games and comfortably, or so I would say.
Yeah, beating Liverpool 2-1 as well. If we're looking at the Premier League, Manchester United were the current winners. They've won it 2 out of the last 3 seasons, but Arsenal were not in there last season, so in the top 3. They were there the season before. The last season, Arsenal actually finished in 6th place. So Manchester United won the league with 82. Manchester City was in behind with 81. Tottenham was in 3rd, but they're Arsenal down in 6th place. So you have started well this season, but it's whether you can hold out for the rest of it, because 6th best last season with 68 points.
Yeah, bit of work to do, but hopefully. I mean, that's why they sacked the manager, and that's why they've got me in.
Well, there was only a point between you and 4th.
Yeah.
Which was Liverpool. So that ain't too bad. The season preview does put you as second favourites, probably after the signings that was been made.
Yeah.
But with Manchester City as main favourites. Funny how they got Florian Wirtz there. Thomas Tuchel is there. So very good indeed. But over to Italy then, which we knew Dad was not really always going to favour. Rejected the Napoli job. Obviously that came up and I didn't really fancy that one. Instead, I've ended up at Juventus and with not a lot of budget. So I haven't done anything. There's nothing for me to do. I've no money whatsoever in the budget. Very bad finances. I'm going to have to just rock with what we've got. Now, we're going with a 4-2-3-1 narrow because there are some good players still at this side in the attacking midfield position. We've got Matteo Liberali, who is a young Italian player who's developed really well from AC Milan. Vignato, Samuel Vignato is not a bad player either, although he has picked up an injury there. He'll be out for a bit of a distance there. But Silva, Bernardo Silva's here, age 37, still at the club. Can still do
looking
it.
Good as well, yeah.
Coop Miners is also still here as well. He is obviously my best midfielder. He's age 33. Ravella is also there, age 29. What I will say, Vlahovic is still here too, 31. What I will say is this cannot be a very long project because the players are quite old.
Yeah.
Cavalli is considered one of my better players as well. He is a good right back. Cambiasso is my left back. Centre-backs were Araujo and De Bast. And no massive Italian defenders here anymore with Di Gregorio at the back. I don't really know about this team. I mean, Gatti's also there. He does look a lot better, to be fair. Maybe he should be playing a lot more. But I don't really want to lock in a player who's 33, and Locatelli as well. He is also in the So I've got good backups, but they're all the same standard.
Yeah.
There's no outstanding player in my team other than Koopmeiners, to be honest. So I don't really know about this, to be honest.
I think you got 1, maybe 2 seasons at the most.
Yeah. Before these players are too old.
With this team, yeah. So, you either got out for a good budget or you do something this season.
Yeah. I mean, I started well. 8-2 against Sassuolo, which was a great start for me. Obviously, Paolo Cavalli, the right back, got himself a hat-trick. No idea how. Genoa won 4-0 as well, and Lazio 3-1. So it's been a great start. I've got the Rats of Rennes in the Europa League, though. That's scummy. But that it's all about, obviously, the Serie A. With Inter Milan, who was the previous winner, with AC as runners-up and Roma third. No Juve for a long time.
Yeah.
So almost like 8 seasons since Juve actually won the league. Season preview does stick us as the third favourites though. So I don't know. We were finishing in 7th place last season, which was a bad season, the reason why the manager was sacked to begin with. But can we do the unthinkable here and win the title back for the old lady? Interesting stuff as we go into season number 9 of the Race to 7. Dad has built an incredible team to not only turn Arsenal's misery around from 6th place, but to a challenging for the league title. Meanwhile, despite having no money at Juventus, I still fancied a shot at the Serie A myself. Dad's Arsenal team was rather impressive, and the side that he built showed that against the reigning champions, beating Manchester United both home and away, and blown them out of the title race this season. Liverpool were in fact the main threat to Dad's side winning the title, and after beating them in the first part of the season, Dad then pinched a late equaliser in the home game as well. And after an incredible run on the final stretch of games, it was enough for Dad to clinch the league title with Arsenal by 7 points to add yet another trophy. In Italy, however, my biggest problem was Roma. I was trailing them by a point going into the final day of the season, so I needed to make sure I give us the ultimate chance, which I did by picking up a win against Udinese. And it wasn't until the 88th minute in Roma's game before our prayers were answered, because Torino, of all sides, equalised against Roma and helped their local rivals Juventus lift the Scudetto in the dire minutes of the season. I mean, you put the pressure on with that Premier League win, but on the final day of the season, which, I mean, look, again, 0 budget for next year, 35% of transfer revenue.
Yeah.
I needed to win the league. I mean,
to be honest with you, I'm celebrating as well.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got to go to Italy now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. And he's celebrating because obviously he won something with Arsenal, which is
I am
nice
celebrating. You haven't seen me celebrate, have you? Have you seen me celebrate?
You just said I'm celebrating.
No, I said I'm celebrating because I haven't got to go to Italy.
You're celebrating me win.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Of course. Did you, when Arsenal won the league title? Did you do the?
Yeah, I did. I was just.
Yeah. No
celebrating.
As if like you scored against your old club.
No jumping up.
Yeah,
no,
I'm sure. Anyway, Roma well and truly threw it away through Ralph Hasenhüttl on that final day of the season. An 88th minute equaliser from George Ilinekena.
Love a late goal.
Yeah, very happy with that. To pick up the win, I beat Udinese on the final day of the season comfortably as well. But Dusan Vlahovic got 36 goals, so absolutely creamed the Serie A, and the average rating was destroyed by me. I mean, there's the right back there. He's done very well. But yeah, I'm just over the moon to get that one done and dusted.
I must admit, I'm pleased you got a point on that one, because I just did not want to go to Italy. So that's one. I'm well happy with that one. So yeah, definitely.
Semi-final Europa League, 3rd round by Cremonense. It was not important to me whatsoever. But over to the Premier League, Dad. You have ticked off the Premier League. You've also won the FA Cup.
Nearly done the treble. Look.
Yeah.
Got to the 2 finals
in the Carabao Cup, beaten by Spurs on penalties.
Now I will celebrate. Get in!
FA Cup, beating Bournemouth in that final. So yeah, the Premier League was a good one, obviously. Arsenal winning by 7 points.
Yeah.
Only losing 7 games, with Liverpool finishing
Had a good side.
But Bukayo Saka was the top scorer with 17. It's quite surprising how well you've managed to do there.
Yeah.
He was obviously the highest average rating as well. So, yeah. Good tide.
Good season.
26 goals. He was the top scorer of Kai Havertz, 24.
I mean, I had him, Kai Havertz, there being 24 goals. I didn't have to get a striker, did I?
No, Gyökeres got 15 in total. He only played 24 starts, 24 off the bench.
Nelson Weber got 15 goals when he started 7.
Viper,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 goals from 7 starts is great.
Yeah.
Martin Odegaard's done all right as well. Martinelli with a decent season. But now, we leave. Now, what happens for season number 10? I mean, you've obviously got 5 trophies now.
Yes, this is where it gets interesting there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
The big countries are gone, really.
Yeah, we're both looking for a job
I mean,
at
the only
the same
big ones
time.
really is Germany and France, really, isn't it now? So
Yeah.
got to wait for something to come up, haven't we?
There's one place I will not be fighting you for, and that is Rennes in Ligue 1. But PSG are dominating that at the minute, as you can see. That is a silly job to go for at this point.
100%.
Yeah, I think the fact that we are 2 big clubs in Europe, and Inter and Chelsea, of course, who are now off the table for either of us because of those trophies being taken this season, that means managers will be moving.
Merry-go-round starts again.
And the merry-go-round starts. So,
yes, definitely.
that's where all the excitement happens. Let's see what happens. With both of us picking up trophies, I'm still trailing Dad by 2, and he is now just 2 trophies away from winning this whole challenge. And it isn't too long before a job that we both wanted to apply for appeared in Germany in Borussia Dortmund. Dad is the first to be approached for an interview, probably because of his successful history so far. However, I was also given an interview too soon after. So this then became the very short race of who is asked to be the Dortmund manager next. And unfortunately for me, it was Dad, the Champions League winning manager who was inevitably offered the job in Germany. My main hope is that Bayern Munich are too good for him to win the title there, as well as hoping that all of these massive international jobs are taken up by managers at clubs that I can jump into. But as Dad was once again given over £200 million to spend to improve this Dortmund team in the transfer market, I was left with no jobs available to apply for and stuck looking at the past without anything cropping up going into season number 10, remaining unemployed. Okay, so I'm still without a job. Still optimistic, although it is 5-3.
Yeah.
You've only got 2 trophies to go with you still in a job. So you are well and truly in the driving seat after getting the Dortmund job.
I'm really pleased. It's my favourite German side, so yeah, I'm really pleased with this. The one ground I'd love to go and watch a game of football.
Yeah.
Get into the yellow wall, definitely.
You start the season well.
And conceded a goal.
Only scored 1 goal each game, though. But the teams you beat Bayern Munich, who are the current champions with 10 men as well of the Bundesliga.
And
so
one of my signings scored the goal as well.
Yeah, they've won the last few. Well, actually, the last season. You won it the season before, finishing runners-up this season, just gone. But they've won it quite a lot recently. So you have picked up basically the best chance outside of Bayern Munich to win a trophy in Germany there. I'm not enjoying that one bit. And you had so much budget as well.
About 220 million, was
it? If I had signed, they would have gone, yes, 200, and then I'd have joined, and then it'd be like, minus 200 million, of course. But there we go. So you sold, that was actually you. You've got £279 million spent. João Gomez, you mentioned there, was your first signing. He was the scorer.
Straight from the midfield up.
Yeah, he came in. Rafael Morales, 27 years at 27 million for 23-year-old Uruguayan centre-back.
The one thing I did notice that the 2 centre-backs were in their 30s, so I've just got a couple of players in just to sort of cover that. And they may not get in the first team, but they'll definitely cover any injuries.
Plan to stay for a long time, yeah?
Just making sure, mate, if they get injured halfway through the season, I've got a good replacement for them, haven't I?
All right. Uriel Hato from Liverpool, £82 million.
There's the other one.
You're also a good left back as well.
Yeah.
Eduardo Bo, £17 million for the Roma centre defence
Strong
midfielder.
midfield, yeah. So that's 2 good midfielders in as well.
And then finally, the goalkeeper.
Well, I looked at the keeper and I didn't think he was that good. So you can't.
And he's injured.
You've got to have, and he was injured, yeah.
At the start of the season.
You've got to have a good keeper in. So I've got this guy in. So hopefully he'll do the business for me. Really, I'm quite pleased. And I'd have locked the striker, and I felt this guy was a better striker.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it and he is good. Only 24, so lock him in and see what he can do for me.
You come through the Reading Youth Academy there. You would be playing him in front of Maximiliano Bayer, who is good, to be fair. Very pacey. I quite like him.
I was a bit like whether to lock him in or no, just let him fight it out. So I've locked him in and see what happens.
Well, he does go into the lineup, obviously, in front. So it would be like that. Adeyemi is also still at the club. 30 years of age with 19 pace, so he's not bad. Speed demon to come off the bench. Your best player, though, is Angelo.
Yes.
Who is very good.
This guy
is injured at the minute, but £100 million player. He is incredible.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he is very good indeed. He is out for 4 to 8 weeks at the minute, though. was injured in that first fixture, which means you have gone on to win without him anyway. His replacement would basically be Bayer, so he has been playing since. So it has worked out for you.
It's worked out quite well, yeah.
Yeah, your midfield, obviously, that you've brought in, but they already had Varela, who is obviously at Porto in real life. He is very good, 31 years of age now, experienced in there. The two centre-backs you mentioned were Van Heck and Schlotterbeck at this new club, so two players in their 30s. Two very good defenders, though.
Yeah.
Your favourite right-back is at the club?
It is my favourite one, yes. Try and sign this guy every time I get a chance, yeah.
And then Mitaj, who is a left back that is quite good as well, actually.
Yeah, I've come across him before, so I do like the look of him, yeah.
Not too bad at all, but very good start at the start of the season. I really need a job, though. Nothing else came up. Even with the amount of internationals that came up, didn't chuck me anything. I really need, obviously, if we're looking at the leagues that we have left, it is the French league, so I need PSG, which very unlikely that's going to come up. Doesn't ever come up, and Pep Guardiola's there at the minute.
Sure.
So, not great.
No.
Portugal would be perfect, because I know how much you love Portugal.
I do, yeah.
If any of the big three come up, that would be spot on for me. That would be so good to be able to go to Portugal and potentially... I doubt if the job comes up, it probably means they are not in a good position. So it would have to be a 2-year job, thinking realistically. But if I'm given that second year, I could win the Portuguese league. Then that leaves Turkey and Belgium. And I fancy my chances more in Turkey and Belgium than what you do.
Yes, definitely. I don't know those teams very well.
Unless one falls on your lap.
Yeah, it happens, and I've been lucky so far. So just keep your fingers crossed to see if I can be lucky again.
And also, so far in this, you've had money everywhere you've gone.
Yeah, and I do play. I'm better when I've got a bit of money to spend tonight. So yeah,
you had Real Madrid. Obviously, Chelsea was the first season, but Real Madrid, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Now Dortmund with all that money.
200 million again, yeah.
So
just after what you've done with Juventus with nothing, just goes to prove what you can do with a very small budget as well. Yeah. So yeah, I've got to keep sort of. Hopefully, a little bit of luck just goes my way. Yeah, after Dortmund, really. I've got to win this. I've got to win this league first, but I've been lucky to get there. They give me a lot of money. I've got a good side. I fancy my chances. My next one's going to be the lucky one again. Yeah, that will put you 6-3 up. Yeah, if I win the next year, and you'd only need one. Yeah. And okay. I know it's going to get hard from then on, but I've still got to do it this season, yeah. And you ain't got a job. I haven't now. I could get a free season here if I win the league and you haven't got a team. No. Whoa. Because I'm not. I tell you now, I ain't going anywhere like any of these clubs. Like clubs that are like mid-table relegation. It's just time. Yeah, it's just waste of time. Yeah. I need to wait for a big job. So. Come on. Let's pray one appears to me in season 10. As November began, Dad's Dortmund was still firing on all cylinders, unbeaten and top of the league. And I was still jobless, and nothing had appeared yet that was appealing, and the only hope was Sporting in Portugal, who are currently in 7th place. However, towards the end of the month, Club Rouge sacked their manager, and it was a great chance to take over one of Belgium's biggest sides, sat currently in 9th place. 2 weeks later, and they decided to reply with an interview. And I was then offered the job on the 8th of December, for which I accepted immediately. I would once again have to work with no money as the financial situation at the club was pretty bleak. They have some decent players, no one outstanding, so I built a strong defensive 4-2-3-1 around them, and it seemed to start off well as we won 3 of our first 4 games, including 2 in the league and 1 against Genk. That then shot us up to 5th place, but we are still some way off leaders Anderlecht, so it could be a task for next season to win the league. However, Dad's putting the pressure on, still ahead of Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga by 3 points. Other than a bit of a dodgy February, my new side was still picking up wins, and when the league then split and the points were halved, I was still 5 points behind Anderlecht in 4th place. Dad in the Bundesliga though found himself 7 points clear with 7 games remaining and in the driving seat for another trophy. April came with some bad results for Dad and his Dortmund side though. My form was mixed with 2 losses and 4 wins however, and I was just 2 points behind new leaders Standard Liège, who I just battered 5-0. Bayern Munich though had reduced the 9-point gap down to just 2 with 3 games remaining. A loss to Anderlecht, and with 2 games remaining
thinking it was going down to the wire for me in Belgium. It was also not good news for Dad in Dortmund, who lost 3-2 away to Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, and despite winning the last 2 fixtures comfortably, needed Bayern Munich to drop points, and unfortunately, that didn't happen, as they remained top of the league by 1 point and became Bundesliga champions again. Anderlecht drew 1-1 in the penultimate game of the season, but still remained top going into the final day, where I kept the dream alive in Belgium, beating Westerlo 2-0, and then in the last game defeating Standard 2-1. But I couldn't believe what was happening in Westerlo versus Anderlecht, because they crumbled once again on the final day of the season, allowing me to snatch the league title, dragging this side from what was 11th place to 4th before the split to become Belgian champions on the final day of the season. A final day of the season win again. From where I was with Club Brugge when I took them over, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I got to agree with you. You've done really well. You just come in, took the team over, changed your tactics, didn't buy anybody, didn't change anything, just change your tactics, and you just slowly crept up the league, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, when I took them over, they were in 11th place. This is it. This exactly is where I took them over in the end of October there, and we just kept on climbing. And of course, going into the championship group with Club Brugge, starting off in that 4th position or 2nd position, whenever it was. It got until the final day because it got a little bit risky towards the end there. I was losing every other game and including the cup final as well. So I lost 3 of the remaining 6 or 7 league games that I had. But at the same time, the run that we had going from when I took over was just really good. Just so strong. Lost to Rennes, annoyingly. But it just carried on going very well until, well, it was here, wasn't it, when I picked up the job, and then just carried on going really well. And I can't believe it, but it has given me such a big advantage. Such a big advantage. It's the first time, actually, as well, that they've won the league in a long time. All the way since the 23-24 season. Anderlecht have been dominating.
9 years.
I've come in, picked them up from nearly a relegation scrap, and won in the league. I'm buggering off. I'm going. Absolutely incredible season. Club Brugge fans supposed to be like, oh, he's amazing. What a messiah. He's gone? What? But I'll be off. And Dad, you will be staying. You will be staying.
I think I was like 6 or 7 points clear.
Yeah.
At one stage during the mid-season. I don't know.
Oh, will you stay?
How did I lose that?
Well, your April was awful.
Oh, there it is, look.
Absolutely awful.
I lost to the team that I built before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about that because it was a Champions League, but it was the Wolfsburg game, Leipzig game, and then Solberg. Yeah, that just cost me so badly.
Because you were beaten by Munich. You beat him here twice.
Twice there, look. Oh dear, how did I chuck that away?
Gifted them the title.
Yeah, did. And Bayern always come good at the end of the season, didn't they?
Yeah.
Always do. I've always noticed that when you play this game, you've got to be thereabouts at the end of the season and keep going. You slip up, they're right in.
Alex Brock's done quite well, 29 goals there. Angelo's disappointing season. 10 and 8, considering how good he is. You've got £80 million should you decide to stay, but that is a big decision. Yes,
it definitely is. I mean, do I stay? I've got a good side there. I've got 80 million, which is a good budget. I could go some rows and have no budget and struggle, so something to think about. I mean, it really all depends what teams come up.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, obviously I will be leaving Belgium. I was also the runner-up of the Cup, as we mentioned. But is there any jobs available for me right now? And now this puts me in a great position because now I'm 5-4 behind Dad, chasing him with the opportunity to go to Portugal. Because Sporting and Porto, both there, or Frankfurt, I could go to Bundesliga and really screw things up.
It's your favourite side. We could be our favourite sides in Germany.
But I think I would be silly with these two available. Now, Sporting finished in 4th place. Throughout the season, they were insecure.
Yeah.
And I did declare interest, and they weren't having any of it. But they never ended up actually sacking the manager till the end of the season because they finished in 4th place. Benfica are winning the league, but not by much. Only 6 points. Vittoria and Amadora are closer, only 3 points behind. This is wide open. I'm looking at this as well,
100%.
and the players at these clubs, I mean, Mateus Arezzo is at Sporting. He's fantastic. He's only 30. And Oscar Gluck is at Porto, who's only 29. So still really good. Still really good. They've got some cracking players in here. There's even a New Zealand international who looks unbelievable as well. Kovacevic is at Sporting, although he is looking quite old. Now, you can never trust it, but financially, it's not looking great at Sporting. And I hesitant to say that Porto is probably Porto's a little bit better, £24 million. But once I start evaluating the clubs, I don't know which direction I'll go down. But will you be joining me, or are you going to be staying?
It's so tempting just for both of us to go into Portugal. We're going to say, right, let's go for it, shall we?
You go for one of them. When you leave, I'll take the top.
That's a problem.
Well, what's happened? Anything can happen in the race to the Prem, so make sure you stick around. That's right, with a trip to Portugal on the horizon, I am just one trophy behind Dad now and putting the pressure on in the race to 7. And so it's time to skedaddle and apply for 2 jobs available in Portugal as I really put the pressure on Dad. The better job of the 2 seems to be Sporting, and they are straight in with an interview for me. And the move to Portugal is complete as they approach me to become the new manager. Finances are pretty poor though, so I'm just sticking with the same team that I adopted and trying to improve their position from last season, which was 4th place and 6 points behind Benfica. Meanwhile, Dad is indulging in another summer spending spree at Borussia Dortmund, hoping that this time it can carry him to the title, leaving him with just 1 left to win. Well, Dad, I'm here in Portugal.
Yes.
I could level it this year.
Oh, I'm a bit worried now because you picked up one of the best teams in Portugal as well. So I just got to hope my Benfica do the job on you.
Well, that's it, because Benfica have actually been the best team in the league the last couple of years, or very dominant.
Yes.
Sporting won it 2 seasons ago, but as you can see, didn't even finish in 3rd place. They were 4th place the season before. Porto job was also available, but they were slightly worse off than Sporting. Sporting was the job I wanted out of the 2 after looking at them and discovering the players and the money scenario, the money side of things. But Benfica definitely have the best team in the league as it stands. They've still got the likes of Rafael Luiz, who's an unbelievable talent, as you can see. They are going to be very difficult. Bruno Lage is the manager as well, so, you know, they've got a decent manager in there. They have been dominating for a while. I've come to Sporting with very bad finances, by the way, and we're kicking things off with no money whatsoever. It's going to be very much a struggle.
Yeah.
You can see, made no signings. Nobody has come in that I have signed. I've just got to use the players that are already at my club.
Ooh.
But I did that before.
Yes, you have.
When we were
Yeah,
at Club
you're quite
Brugge.
capable of doing it.
So tactically, looking at this side, I've decided to set up in a 4-2-2-2 formation using complete forward in Suslov up front there, because he's not exactly the best striker. He's more of a centre attacking midfielder. But I like this style of formation because Velis is very much suited to that right-hand side, so we'll see what he can do there. Melamond is a good shadow striker, he can also play centre midfield. We've got Sheldrup, who's actually obviously come from Benfica at the start of the game, but there he is in my side. We've still got Morten Hjulmand, who's been there for a long time now. He's 34, so he's had better years, but he's still going strong. Some good players in this team, but I don't look at this team and go, oh, we should easily wipe the floor with this league.
I think you got a very good sort of average side.
Yeah, I mean, there's also,
you could
to be
do
fair, I've just done the best 11. It's nowhere near, like, Suslov drops into there.
Yeah.
Arezzo is my best player. He is the guy that will score me money, but he is leaving at the end of the season and exploring his contract, which is not ideal. So, yeah, it might be a bit of a struggle.
You've got a chance. You're going to be, I reckon you're going to be in the top 5 comfortably.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of luck. You never know what could happen. I can't see you doing it twice. 2 seasons in a row going to a club and winning the league
Straight away.
I can't see you doing it. Don't think you're that lucky.
No, Benfica obviously very good. That could be the sticking point.
I was like me with Dortmund, with Bayern Munich, innit?
Yeah.
You've always got that one really good side to beat.
Yeah. Season started well, though.
Oh, no, I don't want to see that.
But there's only 4 league games.
Yeah.
And I'm not actually top because Estrela and Benfica have also done well, but Benfica have dropped points. They've drawn again there, but Estrela Amadora has won 5 out of 5.
Now and again, you get a team that comes through like that, and hopefully they do.
So they might have a little bit of money, some decent players in there. We've seen a guy come from their youth academy who was very good from there. I'm in the Europa League, so that might cause a little bit of trouble having to play quite a lot of games there, which I've started off playing in quite a lot of games and managed to qualify. So we'll see. Obviously, I haven't played anybody significant yet, although Vitoria obviously finished in 3rd place. I did beat them 4-2 at home, but I haven't played Porto, I haven't played Benfica, and I haven't played Estrela yet.
No.
Those are the sticking points for me. But over to you, Dad. Still with Dortmund, decided not to join me here in Portugal.
I was tempted. I was really tempted because it would have been a bit of fun with both of us being there, but I just felt losing the league by 1 point. I should have won the league quite comfortably. Disappointed I didn't, but I've still got a job to do there, and I think I've got a good enough team to do it. So,
all right. Well, we've changed a lot of things as well because £58 million has left the club, and the players that you have brought in, if we're looking at it, quite a lot of them.
Yes.
Ampadu on a free transfer, bringing him in, good option there in midfield.
Yeah.
Jared Branthwaite, paid a lot of money for him.
I did, but he's a good left-sided defence centre back. I'm trying to get out of me.
Bloody hell.
I took a long time to get that one out. Then,
Yeah, you did, yeah.
He plays in a lot of positions, and centre back is one of them. And he's very good at it.
Ogote from Eintracht Frankfurt, so weakening them and strengthening yourself.
That was the idea, yeah, definitely there.
Then we got Thomas Hernandez from Boca Juniors. It's always good to pick up players from the South American
I'll tell you what,
clubs.
our scouts were doing really well with this for the South American club, and they picked this guy up. I thought that was a good bargain, really.
Yeah, because Hugo's another one.
Yes, another
10
one.
million.
Yeah, 2 good players. They're really winger and a striker. They can do some damage for me.
Dusan Vlahovic, though, from one of my former clubs.
Yes, I know he was 33, but he's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And you can't win a game unless you go score goals. So that's what I was saying.
Me.
Yeah.
John Joe Thomas from Liverpool, £40-odd million.
Another striker,
he looks very good.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah. Very
he
good.
looks absolutely fantastic.
And he's going to get better. So, I mean, I don't want to be around too long, but I'm not interested how he gets on later on.
And then Harvey
I needed that
up.
one player, sort of like this, an attacking sort of midfielder, and he fitted the bill, RB. So, yeah. Quite pleased with that.
All right. So tactically, then you're going with a 4-2-2 wide formation.
Yes.
Locking a fair amount of players in.
I did, yeah. I wanted to lock them just to make sure they played in those sort of positions as well, really. So, but Elliot was my sort of. He was the one I really needed, sort of that position. But he's picked up an injury. He's picked up as well. So
got the Omega Lucas.
Yeah.
Out for 3 weeks in August.
So, that's not too bad. I can handle that.
Okay. Well, you're second in the league right now. That's because you have dropped points to Cologne.
Yeah, bit disappointed
in a
there.
1-1 draw there, but outside of that, you've won 10-2 in the Cup, 7-2 against Heidenheim, and 4-0 against Eintracht Frankfurt.
I mean, to me, that's the main result. That's one of the good teams in this league, and I've given them a beating. So, yeah, I'm happy with the start so far. It's a long season. So
it's just whatever Bayern Munich does, because they've still got 300 million in their budget. So Deschamps has been enjoying himself, and obviously they've got some cracking players like this man here, who is outstanding. I've got a feeling he might have won the Ballon d'Or recently, because I'm sure I've seen his name. Maybe not. Maybe he hasn't. But he's very much capable of doing so.
Definitely, yeah. And that worries me really. That, they've got such a good team. So hopefully I can do it.
Well, yeah, let's see what happens in the race to 7. Dad's still got his league, but how long will it last? Despite Dad adding a lot of new talent to his side, it was a player already at the club that was shining for him, as Max Bayer was flying with 15 goals as Dortmund sit top of the league by 2 points. My new side in Portugal was putting up a title chase themselves, but it was a lot closer than I hoped, as I sat 2 points behind Benfica, who was top of the league, but I had a game in hand over them. However, as we got to the back end of the season, only one of us was clear favourites to lift the title. Because I was in the driving seat in Portugal and a chance to go 6 points clear of Amadora with just 2 games remaining. And Dad had begun drawing far too many games, but a win in their game in hand over Bayern would put them top of the league, but only by a point. However, a draw to Mainz was then followed by a loss to Stuttgart, a mistake for which Dad could not afford to make. And once again, he was trophyless in Germany. Well, if you look at the statistics, you should have won this league quite comfortably.
I only lost 4 games, but look how many games I drew. That's what cost me.
Yeah, 4 points behind Bayern Munich. I think you conceded way too many because you're scoring goals. You can see that by having 3 of the top 4 top scorers of the league.
And when you just look at the Bayern badges on all of that, really, I should have won that league.
Yeah, very much so.
Bayern Munich done me again.
Had that way better goal difference compared to them, but they still finished 4 points above you.
Yeah, we drew too many games.
Yeah,
especially at the end of the season. That's what cost me.
So not great at all. Did win the DFB Pokal. Oh, that's nice. Oh,
yeah,
that's nice. Doesn't count, but still nice. I don't know. But that makes
I was there or thereabouts all season.
Yeah, but that makes it very interesting now because that brings us level after I went on and smashed the league title in Portugal. Benfica dropped off massively.
Didn't they just? They let me down stinking Nilla. 2 seasons, 2 titles. Well done. Can't argue with that.
Closed that gap very quickly considering you beat me to the Dortmund job.
Yeah.
So there we go. I'm happy with that. I've bounced back very quickly there. I think a lot of people might have written me off after you got the Dortmund job.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. I thought, if I get that job, I thought you were gone.
Alejandro Valise got 29 goals. He was my star player, as you can see there, and helped us lift the title. But not only that, get us to every single other final that we were capable of getting to, and won the Allianz Cup, runners-up in the Taça de Portugal, losing only on penalties, and losing in the Europa League final in extra time to Liverpool. So not bad season whatsoever. We were fantastic, considering, again, I have not bought a player in 2 seasons.
That's good. Just it's solely on your tactics. Well done.
So that means
that's a big worry for me, really, because there's not a lot left. Anywhere. There's not a lot left to go.
No.
And it proves that you can do things without money now, and I'm struggling even though I've had the money with Dortmund.
There are 3 trophies left to win. One of them is the Bundesliga.
Yes.
The other 2 is the Turkish League, and of course, the French League.
Yes.
Which might be very difficult.
PSG don't come up, you're
if
struggling.
The PSG job don't come up, because they are still winning it. In fact, if you're looking at past winners, nobody else has won it.
Rennes is there.
And let me tell you, if the Rennes job does come up, still won't be taking it. So I'm really looking for either Marseille or Nice, I'm thinking, to be honest, to help me here.
If Rennes have come second and Marseille have come third, they're not going to be sacking their managers, are they?
No, Monaco went a bad shout. They got the 2 top scorers of the league there, so that's not a bad shout. I mean, look how good he is, Jesus Christ. And Mason Melia is not bad either. They finish in 4th place, still quite, but they got Inzaghi there at the minute. Ben Seguir is also a key player and still there. Finances, they are looking fantastic. Yeah. I'll definitely take that, because that's the trouble. We're finding ourselves now nearly 10 seasons in, or 10 seasons in, and finances at a lot of clubs are stinking.
I mean, I would be looking at that thinking,
Lyon, by the way, just got relegated.
Top 7 sides wouldn't be getting rid of their managers.
No.
You wouldn't have thought so. So I can't see you going to France.
It might be Turkey.
You might have to go to Turkey if something comes up available there.
But nothing is available other than Ankara, who finished in 15th. That's not a viable place to go to yet.
Could be sat around.
Could be.
In your thumbs for a little while.
Unless something in Germany comes up. That would be funny.
It ain't going to be Bayern Munich, is it? Because they just won the league again. So.
But a nice little Eintracht Frankfurt would be redemption, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Galatasaray won the league. Trabzonspor, Fenerbahce and Besiktas rounded out the top 4. The 4 best teams in there, really. That's the trouble. They're not going to sack any of their managers.
No, you need one to down for 9th, don't you? Then
nobody's really going to do anything there. It might be a merry-go-round if I do leave Sporting. One of those types of managers might get tipped. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But yes, I'm adding a trophy to my list, my checklist. and it evens things up. Crazy to think that when Dad got the Dortmund job that I would somehow catch up with him and level the scores within just 2 seasons. But it's time to leave Sporting now and Portugal and look for a new job, but at the minute there's just nothing around. And it continued that way all summer as no job of note appeared, and I had to watch Dad spend another £400 million on transfers at Dortmund, keeping him with a slight advantage over myself going into season 12. Okay, so we're at September. No jobs for me.
Oh, yes, that's what I need.
That's not good. Not good at all. As it stands right now, you are well and truly still in the driving seat.
Yes.
Especially because you're spending £437 million in one transfer window.
It's when you got a good squad, which I did have, as in the amount of players you've got in there, and you start selling players for like 46 million, which was Harvey Elliott and things like that. I'm just sort of selling players, and I was getting my budget was going up and up and up, and then I'm buying good players, and then I was thinking I still had like 50-60 million in the budget, and I thought, right, I'm going to improve my second player, reserve player. So when I was selling the reserve player, I was still selling in for like 20 million or something like that. So
I can't believe you sold Angelo.
He didn't want to sign a new contract.
I was going to say he was going
to go, and I lost my main goal scorer on a freebie, I believe.
Yeah.
I lost
Maximilian Bayer.
Yeah, that I lost him, and I was disappointed because I didn't realise he was going until I looked at the squad and I thought, where's he gone? And when I looked into it, he went on a freebie, so he wouldn't sign a new contract neither. So there was a couple of players I didn't want to lose, but there's a couple of players I just went for certain reasons. I didn't think I was going to use them, but I still think I've improved my team.
Oh yeah, because he's very good, and you only signed him for £6 million.
Yeah.
So he looks great. That's Bayer's replacement.
Yeah, Scouts are doing really well again for me, really.
Tadibo, 34, bringing in
I just
a bit of experience.
He was a bit more experienced, very good sort of a reserve player.
Carboni's good.
Yeah.
He looks like a decent centre-back.
That's the player that I took the longest to buy him, really, because I needed that position more than anything as a third player to come into that position. And
he was one of the reasons why Estrella was very good in the Portuguese league.
Yeah. I mean, you look at him and he's not brilliant, but he's good at a lot of things. So he was like one of those players that took me a while to buy him.
Got a goalkeeper coming in, Mamardashvili.
Yeah.
You do love signing goalkeepers.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wanted to get a second keeper in.
Panidis, £55 million, another centre defence midfielder.
That was the one player it was an easy buy. Got him in. Only 23. Look, he is solid in that position.
Gabriel Vega, £56 million.
Yeah. He's going to be. I think he'll probably be on my reserve.
Silguera,
because he was going to be one of my sort of. That was a really good sign. I was pleased to get this guy in.
Okay.
Oh, he's so good in that position.
I don't like world class.
Oh, I think he's going to be good.
All right. Well, then you've also got Sonzine from Milan, £70 million. He's fantastic.
Yes.
He's a great left back. You could also play him at centre back, and he would not be out of place at all.
And you know
6'1", great pace,
we're
strength.
buying the left side defenders as well. It's so good if you can get one.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd be locking him in at centre back because he's got 19 concentration, 16 positioning. He is mental as a good centre back. And then David, which was nearly £100 million in total, a centre back who I don't think is as good as the one I just showed.
He's not, but when you think with both of them in those positions,
he is not a £100 million player.
You can only pay what they're asking you to pay, innit? I mean,
that's because you're signing from a rival.
Yeah, obviously.
They have seen you right off. I mean, everybody knows Eintracht Frankfurt's very good at selling players after, you see all the strikers that they sell. But £100 million, what do you think? Let us know in the comments whether you think that is valuable or not.
It's 86 million.
And 97 million in total.
Look at the positions he can play in as well.
I'm just making sure. Centre-back. That's it.
Well,
and as a centre-back, he's got 11 heading and he's 6 foot with 13 jumping reach. Not even aggressive.
He's still going to be there or thereabouts, isn't he?
That is a lot of money.
I think I've strengthened my defence.
I think the player before, the one that plays left back, is a far better centre back than that one.
Probably is, yeah.
Crazy. Let us know what your opinions on that player is, because I think that is a complete waste of £100 million. There are some unbelievable talents on this game that you could potentially get for £100 million. I mean, we'll just have a quick look. I reckon I can find a better player within seconds for less than £100 million. I reckon your scouts have found some for less than There is one. Look, Yvonne Simmons, £100 million. Not too bad. £92 million.
Well, hang on a minute. Yvonne Simmons doesn't play centre back.
All right, centre back there. Look, Budemeyer. He's better than the one you bought.
No.
He is. He is better than, and he's German. I think he's better than the one you bought. He's both-footed, pacey, better at heading.
Just.
Well, that's not saying much.
Proof's in the pudding. We'll see.
And your scout's rated at an A+, and he is less than half the price.
Yeah.
I think you really overspent there.
Proof's will be in the pudding.
It's not my money. I'm happy for you to make silly mistakes like that because it means I can counter it. I can make sure I can bring things back into it. So, Silguero on the left.
Yeah, I locked him in on the left because he kept on going to the right, and I wanted him to be my more attacking midfielder rather than support midfielder. Okay. So that's why I've locked him in, because he kept on going to the right.
Telehofsky is
and
also
like I said, I spent so much time trying to pick this player. I wanted to lock him in and make sure he played as well.
All right, well, start of the season. It has started well. You're top of the league, but you have dropped points. There's only been 3 Bundesliga games so far. You lost in the Super Cup to Bayern Munich on penalties. Silguero actually scored both of those goals there. He also got the equaliser there against Freiburg after being 1-0 down.
I'm disappointed with that game. Very disappointed with that game. That's one that when you look at the starting fixtures.
Well, yeah, you beat the 2 other ones.
Yeah, Leipzig. You beat them 2, and then you lose to Freiburg. So I wanted to win that game.
Okay, but there's still no jobs for me right now. I need to find a job.
Stay like that for the whole season. Come on.
Where do I end up? Should I actually find a job? Let's find out. Well, it took a while, but finally, in December, an option appeared in Turkey at Fenerbahce. That wasn't the only place, however, as right after, another in Monaco, for which I applied for and received an interview at both clubs. And it turned out that the Monaco job that popped up was a much more appealing role, and I accepted the offer to move to France. Just as that was happening, though, Dab was beaten in the league for the very first time this season and was knocked off the top spot by FC Cologne, as Bayern Munich was sat down in 6th. I had £24 million to spend at Monaco, though, which I did in early January, preparing for my first game in charge in the league, and of course it was against PSG. I had some decent players already, and I chucked together a 4-2-3-1 formation and shocked the current French champions as we went on to smash them 4-0 in my debut game in charge. Now, unfortunately for me, Monaco being down as far as they were when I took them over meant I couldn't do no better than a 3rd place finish, but since I did take them over, we were unbeaten in the league. In Germany, though, it was another frustrating season for Dad, and at this time, it wasn't Bayern Munich. I don't believe it.
Nor do I.
Cologne, pinching the league title, and with style as well, because you went a long time without dropping any points. I mean, Darmstadt was the last time you dropped points, which was back in March, mid-March. You won every single league game, including beating Cologne. And they carried on winning as well. I only
conceded 1 goal in that stretch as well.
Where you beat them, they lost 1 more game to Augsburg. That's how good their league was. They beat Bayern Munich. They just never gave you an opportunity, never gave you a chance to overtake them.
I'll tell you what, when you see Bayern Munich finishing 6th, that's when you've got to jump in and win the league.
Yeah.
If they have a bad season, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they sacked their manager now.
I mean, it is Sebastian Hernub. Was he there all season? No, he's been there for 71 days. So, Deschamps was sacked throughout the season, but I had already left, of course. I tell you what, if I hadn't have gone to Monaco and that come up,
that would have been so funny.
God, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. I'm all right with that because where I've gone...
I'm so disappointed with that finish, though.
I'm actually quite pleased with where I've ended up because I'm in the most difficult league to win, I think. Unless you're down in the Bundesliga, by the looks of it.
I keep finishing 2nd by a point, though, don't I?
You lost less games than they did.
Yeah, 3 games.
Is crazy. You drew 8.
That's the second time I've drawn too many games and it's cost me the league.
Average rating, Silguero was top of it. You got a couple of players up there. It's just not good enough, Dad. Not good enough. Lost in the DFB Pokal as well, final to Bayern Munich. Unlucky, really. Very unlucky.
I honestly thought I was going to do it then.
Well, next season, should you decide to stay, you got £25 million. But yeah, all those transfers that you made.
Yeah.
David didn't even get a 7 average rating, and he cost £100 million. Crazy. Can't believe it. Didn't even get a 7 average rating. Unbelievable. Look at all those players getting 7 average ratings. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 players in your side didn't get a 7 average rating, and one of them cost nearly £100 million. I wish we picked that up at the start of the season, how bad of a signing that was, because we didn't mention it, did we?
No, you didn't, did you?
No, didn't mention it. No. Probably a lot of you are writing comments about how bad he is. Well, there we go. Anyway, sorry to gloat. But
I can't believe it.
I'm at Monaco.
Yes.
And I tell you what, considering where I was when I took them over, my first game of the season in the league for Monaco was against PSG. I thought, here we go. Beat them 4-0. Went unbeaten in the league outside of that. I mean, Rennes knocked me out of the cup. The Champions League, I was knocked out by Anderlecht. They were getting revenge because of the Club Brugge season, wasn't it? That was what that was. Don't really care about that, to be honest. I was just trying to focus on basically finishing as high up the league table as I possibly could, and I got that. I only dropped points to Lille, Toulouse, and Strasbourg. Those are the only games. Oh, and Nice, sorry, the 2-2 draw there, which was a 93rd minute equaliser from Stella, who's one of the players that I bought. I had a bit of money when I took them over. I only had £24 million-ish, so the signings I made weren't amazing, but there were only 2 of them there, which one was Stella, which was for £10 million. Then I bought a centre-back on instalments, Opperin, from Leicester. Barely played, to be honest. He only started 2 games and 9 assists, 9 off the bench, but hey, doesn't matter. He did all right. He did all right.
7 million.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. In comparison, yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. I'll let you have that one.
David did play some games with me.
Oh, yeah, and he's still shit. But there we go. Stella, though, £10 million was a good signing that we picked up from San Lorenzo. 4 goals, 2 assists. I'm happy with that one. That was good. But I tell you what, this formation and this team is pretty good. And they've got money. They've got money as well. Another £25 million with a good wage budget to challenge this Pep Guardiola Paris Saint-Germain side, because he has been there for a while now.
Oh, you should have a chance with him in there. Look at the team they got as well.
He has been there for nearly 6 years.
Yeah,
6 seasons.
He don't leave very often, does he?
No, he's won 8 cups and 6 leagues in 6 seasons. Oh, God, that is a bit gross, isn't it? He's won the Coupe de France so many times, Champions League as well. So, it's going to be difficult, but we stand every chance. They've only got £50 million. It ain't too bad, to be honest. No jobs coming up in Turkey, though. I don't think there's anything here right now other than Istanbul, but they finish in 9th place out of the top teams. Obviously, Fenerbahce come up mid-season.
Yeah.
It was a choice between Fenerbahce and Monaco. Monaco came back to me first. It would have been my choice to go to Monaco. And I'm happy with that decision because I think the Fenerbahce side, they had no money whatsoever. As you can see, 15% transfer revenue. They're in a minus bank budget. It's nice to just have some money for a change. So that's where we're at right now. So it's all about next season.
Yes, I can't afford to drop another season. I might stay in there too long, but nothing's come up, so I can't sort of say I should have moved somewhere because nothing come up for me really to move. So I've got to be happy with what I'm doing. I just got to stop drawing games. That's what's costing me.
Yeah.
3 seasons in a row, I've drawn too many games, and it's cost me 3 league titles.
It has. But the scores are even in the race to 7. You don't want to go anywhere because this one is now on a knife edge. Yes, with no trophy being won this season, Dad's advantage of just being employed over me is over. And after my performance in Monaco, the race to win the next trophy is huge. All right, Dad, stayed with Borussia Dortmund this season. This will be your 3rd crack at it, or 4th crack at it, I think, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Feels like forever you've been here.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, with all the transfers I've done last season, it's not a lot I could change really. And I just really studied the side, and I just felt the 2 right-sided midfielders was the 2 positions I could have done with, just sort of making them better players in those 2 positions. Everywhere else I thought I was happy with, and that's what I concentrated on, and I've got these 2 players in.
Well, going back to Arsenal, obviously, where you bought him to Fatakanti.
Yeah.
So 31 years of age now, but still a quality midfielder.
And he's a good ball winner, and he's also a defensive, good, defending as well. So I've just felt he was the right-sided, right-footed. So I thought this was the guy to get in, just to sort of like make that sort of bit more solid, really.
Yeah.
So I was pleased to get him at 34 million. I thought that was a really good bargain.
Yeah. I mean, when you bought him from Arsenal, he was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, Estrella.
Yes.
He used to play for Monaco as well. Look how cheap he used to be.
Yeah.
He went to Estrella, had a great season. That's when you paid £50 million for him. So we mentioned them having money. They've been very good at just getting good business because, yeah, he's done quite well there. But the other player we actually mentioned last season, obviously, Javon Simmons. He was transfer listed. I looked at him as well, and I couldn't really raise the funds. But you've done it in a lot of installments.
I've done it in the never never, as Aaron calls it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt I really needed to get him in. So I just thought, right, it could be my last season. I ain't got to worry about what happens to the next season or anything like that, hopefully.
You said that last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I've got him in, but I'm really pleased that I've got him in because I think that could be the piece of the jigsaw that I actually just need just to sort of slot him in, job them.
Well, let's see. Still going for the attacking.
I didn't want to change it. I didn't want to change it. I felt I was good enough to win the league last season, and I think I'm still good enough to win it this season. And that's exactly how I wanted it to look now.
Okay. How have you started the season though? Because Cologne, who won the league,
I know,
beat the first game of the season.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, but it's still a long season.
Also,
and then I've drawn a game. So
you were down to 10 men.
I'm a bit worried. I am really a bit worried now.
Yeah, stuff in Hanover, but a bit rough. We've also got to play each other, by the way.
Yeah,
we've got to play each other in the Champions League. So that'd be nice to cross paths because we haven't crossed paths for a while, I don't think, since we've left Austria. Obviously, we played a couple of times. I think when you battered my final side with Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't really think we've played much after that. And we've kind of avoided each other in terms of the league. But it's still been quite fun, considering we've been in different leagues, because we've just been missing out on where we've been going, obviously, and just picking up these league titles. And this is where I think this series has been our best so far. But let's have a look at what I've done, because I've actually brought in quite a lot of players. I've got a goalkeeper, by the way, who I loaned out. He's phenomenal. If I am here for a long time, which, given that PSG is as good as they are, could potentially be a long time. Polzer is really good as a backup goalkeeper. I've loaned him out to Marseille as a first-team goalkeeper, and they were one of the best teams in our league, so they're paying me a lot of wedge to have him. But I've also sold Jesus Hernandez. He's left the club for a little bit, mainly because I needed that foreign player position. You already can get 4 in France, and I've bought a couple of players for that. And this man as well has also left. He was on loan the season before, so he's gone out again. But there's also another £30 million I sold here. So another player to Marseille, and £10 million for Tom Bischoff, who I wasn't really playing his position, and he couldn't get in ahead of Ben Seguir and Eduardo Quaresma. I've bought a player to replace him. He's gone to El Etihad and he's 33 for £14 million. So the players that I brought in, starting off, Pau Kabassi, 35 years of age, of course, just come through Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia. I've picked him up from Napoli, £35 million. Not a bad defender. When I bought him, though, he was a 3.5 star. And then when he joined, then it's down to a 2.5. And it's like, all right. But I still think he's decent. I like the physical attributes on him anyway. Might have overspent, but yeah. Borsani, £22 million. The rest of my signings, I don't think I've overspent at all. I think these are all very good. And the free transfers, by the way, unbelievable. But Borsani from Inter Milan, good right winger, fantastic player. Just sold a right winger. I've brought in this one as well. Melia's also there. I've brought in a player on a free transfer who will fill in up front if we don't have our main striker, who is probably a way better player. Then we've got Fatawu Ganiwu from Parma, £30 million. The deep line playmaker aspect is why I've bought him, because the passing of 19 and good vision with a decent technique and composure and first touch. He's great on the ball. And then finally, Angel Gomez, who was a free transfer. I tried to get him in the January, but he didn't want to talk to anybody. And if you look, this was done on the 11th of July. So he was completely out of contract, no affiliation to any club. Look how good he is. 29 years of age, a world-class player.
Yeah.
20 determination. I mean, he's unbelievable. The only downside, really, is he can't jump. 3 for jumping, but I don't really need him to jump.
No.
He plays in that centre midfield spot. We're playing the same formation and tactic as what we played last season. That done so well from us when we joined. But Ganiwu and Kabassi are being locked in. The rest of the lineup goes in, as you can see, like this. So they are taking a couple of players out there. But Ben Seguir and Ambike are the 2 guys that should get me a lot of goals, hopefully. And adding Borsani and Gomez in behind them should do the job. Now, start of my season, has been good up until I then drew against Clermont Foot, which is annoying. I mean, they've even got Chido Obi, who scored against me there, which is frustrating. But the rest of the games, I didn't make a tit of myself against Brest. I beat them 4-0. Nantes 2-0, Troyes 4-1, Reims 1-0. But yeah, very frustrating. Got to play against a former club in final in the Champions League, so that's kind of nice. Cologne, obviously Bundesliga champions. Congratulations to them. So that's going to be fun. I don't have to play PSG for a long time until I have to face them there. Right after playing Rennes, so that's going to be
So hopefully that's 2 games you lose.
Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows? But, right. Let's see what happens then, because this is getting very interesting now. Because if I manage to win the league somehow and you still struggle, I take the lead for the first time in the challenge.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to think about it. I can't be there another season. Can't be there for another season. That's such a good side I've got.
Yeah. I mean, just put... not to keep robbing it in, but you have give away a 2-trophy lead.
Yes.
After holding a 2-trophy lead for a long time. Since season 5.
And do you know what? When I took over the Dortmund job, especially we both applied for it and I got it, I honestly thought 1, maybe 2 seasons and I'll be gone again from there.
Yeah.
I really did. Especially the first season because I had 200 million to spend. Didn't I?
Yeah.
And buying the players I bought then, and I missed it by a point then, I thought second season this is done and dusted. I'll be finished then. And I can't believe
your kryptonite.
There's always one team that sort of just keeps me there. I mean, I've done the right decision. I left Chelsea straight away as soon as the job come up. Then hang around, job done, in and out. Dortmund, I honestly felt I'd be all right there.
I just thought that wasn't even Bayern Munich that cost you last year. That makes it even funnier.
I can't believe that. No,
they finished in 6th.
Where did they come from?
Oh, this is brilliant.
Oh, near.
All right, well, I'm going to try my best to win the league here in France, but PSG are still odds-on favourites 1-4 with Pep Guardiola at the helm.
Come on, Pep.
To win it. Look at the Dream 11. It is dominated by PSG players. This man up front, by the way, is unbelievable. Look how good he is. He's Spanish as well, so it's perfect for Pep. They bought him for £113 million. He got 20 goals last season. So this is the type of club that I have to overthrow should I want to make it really interesting. But let's see what happens. Well, in the Champions League against Dad, it was by Monaco's side that stole a win in the last few minutes of the match to make it 2-1. But a crucial penalty miss against French champions means that at the halfway stage, I'm still trailing them by 2 points in the league. Dad, on the other hand, was defeating his main title challengers Bayern Munich right when it mattered. And he took a commanding lead going into the new year, sitting 5 points ahead. In the second half of the season, though, I managed to pull off a massive win against PSG in the league, as well as knocking them out of the quarter-finals of the Champions League as well. And despite picking up a loss once a month roughly in the year, we were top of the league with 3 games remaining. Dad, who has the same amount of games remaining, could win the league title though in the following fixture, which he managed to do to finally lift the Bundesliga trophy. So with Dad finally getting his 6th trophy, it was down to me to keep the scores level. And even with us drawing to Saint Etienne, we managed to win our final 3 fixtures, which means we finally break PSG's reign of terror and lift the French league title. Not only that, we also came from behind against Dad's old side Arsenal to win the Champions League as well. Well, you've finally done it.
Come on.
The Bundesliga has been ticked
off. Only drew 6 games this time and won the league. Get in.
Fair play, Dad. You got it done eventually.
I mean, looking at that, I should have done as well, really.
Yeah, the average rating dominated.
Yeah.
Done very well in the end. But I hate to think that you just spent a little bit too long there. You let me in.
I did. I've spent 2 seasons too long there.
Yeah.
I think I was there I think it's 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But I think I was too long.
Because I think as well, the jobs that came up within that time that is now been and gone.
But then saying that though, you took the jobs that did come up and gone.
There were still other jobs.
I know there were still other jobs, but not as good as what the ones that you took as well.
You could be in Turkey now. Let's put it that way. Because that job came up the same time as Monaco.
Yeah, the Fenerbahce
one.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a big one.
It's an hard place to get into in Turkey. There's only certain teams you can play. You stand a chance of winning the league with.
Well, that
and you can come
remaining league to go to. By the way,
it is, isn't it? You can come back to Germany and you can pick the top 4, maybe 5 there, really, can you?
And build something.
And I guarantee you a job would come up out of them 5 as well, because if one of them 5 not doing very well, they do sack them.
Money's good in Germany too.
Yeah.
Money is normally quite good. I mean, if we're just randomly going on to Frankfurt, look, £30 million transfer budget. Cologne won the league last year, 21 million.
And
So there's always stuff.
You're
looking at some of the leagues, and they are like in just so much debt still. You think I went to Sporting and Club Brugge without buying a player?
Yeah.
Because there was just no money and no like sell on, so I just didn't bother.
It's one of those things. I mean, I do it every time we do a rebuild, like a challenge, I guess. I start building the side, and I think they're so good, they're going to win the league. And I was there. They're thereabouts every season.
Yeah, this wasn't you at Roma in the Glory Hunter, where everybody was going, please leave Roma alone. Go away from Roma. At least you probably should have just won it because you just had a bit of bad luck.
One result was costing me each season.
Yeah.
At least this time I got it over and done.
Yeah, absolutely. You also won the double because you also won the DFB Pokal as well.
I'm the best team in the league by far.
Arsenal, your own team, knocked you out the Champions League
Yeah.
as well, which is quite funny. And obviously, at the start of the season, I actually beat you as well. Melia scored in the 89th minute to win the game.
I don't believe that.
It's quite interesting. But we all know how good that Monaco team was because for the first time in how many seasons since 2021, we are in 2036.
14 seasons. 15
Somebody
seasons.
else other than PSG has won the league, and it is thanks to this Monaco side.
If I had a hat on, I would tip it, mate. Well done.
I'll tip it myself.
Yeah.
Ben Skir was the joint top scorer. He's from centre attacking midfield. 20 goals. Not too bad at all.
I mean, you won it by 4 points, and I think 4 points from PSG is comfortable.
Yeah. Lost the same amount of games. Didn't lose against... Well, I did lose against them. No, I also lost against Rennes, but I also beat them. So that's good.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all. And I drew the 3 fixtures there, but it didn't matter. As you said, 4 points. Nice and comfortable.
They drew 5. That's cost them league.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that feeling.
And a couple of my signings. Borsani, most assists in the league. Most assists. Got the most player of the matches. So made a difference. Very good indeed. I'm happy.
Average rating, he's up there as well.
Yeah. Which means now it's time for us to both move. And there is only one club or one nation left that we can go to.
Yes.
And that, unfortunately, for both of us, is the Turkish league. And I say that because we have only actually seen one of the big 3 jobs come up. They might have happened behind the scenes or when we're at other jobs. But in the Sport Toto Super League, Trabzonspor has been winning it recently. They've won it the last couple of seasons. But Galatasaray and Besiktas has been there as well. Fenerbahce, nowhere to be seen really. And they finished in 4th place this season. But none of the jobs are coming up.
No, they're not going to sack the managers being in the top 5 really. As long as they get European spaces, they'll keep the managers.
There's also not a lot of money in the league either. Well, you can see there's not big of a budget there.
We know that's going to happen when we get there because that'll happen for both of us. It isn't so we can take over one team and one of us is going to have a lot of money.
Well, Galatasaray, you get that job of £50 million.
But I can't see them sacking their manager.
No.
But,
Trabzonspor with £22 million. So you just got to hope that one of those two have a bad season. But then it's kind of a race of who gets the job because we'll both be applying for it.
Whoa! I'll rate you. I'll rate that you higher than me at the moment.
Well, yeah, because we forgot to mention.
I was just going to say,
I also won the Champions League, by the way, beating Arsenal in the final, Dad's former club, and the Coupe de France. So I just won a treble in my second season. In only 18 months with Monaco. This Monaco side was absolutely incredible, and I didn't play anything unbelievable tactic-wise. It's just a classic 4-2-3-1 with a centre midfield on attack, but that player that was a centre midfield on attack, Gomez, was a free transfer. That was just unbelievable. So, I've done very well there.
Going back to what I'm saying, I mean, we both won Champions League, but you've won it more recently.
Yeah.
If anybody's looking at our record now, you've come away from winning a treble, I'll come away from winning the double, but yours is recent, and I think your ratings would be a little bit higher than mine at the moment.
There's one job there, Istanbul. They finished in 15th. Their finances are really bad. Transfer budget is non-existent. Doesn't really look like a good place to go right now. Their players aren't very good. Their striker doesn't even have over 10 for finishing, which is very poor. They got a lot of loan players as well, which means they're gone as well, so you won't have a lot of them. Their best player is a 33-year-old centre-back who, by the way, is pretty shocking. There's not much to go for in Istanbul, Besiktas.
I'll pay 100 million for him.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I very much doubt either of us will be going for that job. It would be more the case of letting the season go and then just jumping at the first opportunity that arrives.
That's the thing, innit? We're looking at probably a team in the top 6, I would say.
Yeah.
And if they're not there, you're not going to stand a much chance going with one of these teams, are you really?
No, that's it. Even a couple of these, I mean, they don't look too bad. There's a couple of good players there.
Yeah.
And their finances aren't as bad as what some of the other clubs are.
You could start working with that, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right, because if one of us gets into the league before the other one does, and you spend 1 or 2 seasons in there, you can build.
Yeah.
You can start making that side before the other person gets in there.
Yeah.
Unless one of the big teams, if one of the big ones comes up,
It's game over for whoever gets it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like if a job comes up and it's one of the top sort of 6, one of the lower ones, though, you're sort of like, I don't really want to take it just in case, but I've got to go for it. Really, just to get in there.
I don't think I'll go for any of the clubs down the bottom.
No, I'm looking at 10th under, and I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
Even 8th and 9th, I'm not like.
And it's all situational. Like, one of these clubs could come up, and if I look at it and go, there's no way I'm building a team there anytime soon. I'd rather stay unemployed.
Yeah. But how often do these jobs come up, the top 5?
Well, as I say, in the time that we have been unemployed in this game, Fenerbahce is the only one that's come up that I have seen.
Yeah.
So Galatasaray manager right now is Okan Buruk. And if we're looking at how long he's been there, 13 years. 13 years. So the Galatasaray manager isn't changing. Trabzonspor, who, by the way, keep winning the league. The last time they changed manager, 7 years ago.
6, 7 years, yeah.
So those two jobs, the two that are dominating it, has not changed. Besiktas, the third best team, maybe that's a good option for us. He's been there just over a year. Or just under a year. It's 1 season.
Yeah, so we missed that one.
Yeah.
When that one came over. But then we were both in jobs doing well, though.
Yeah. And that was only left manager role, which was a long time ago. And then that one, Carver's retired.
And he was there for 7 years.
And he wasn't even sacked.
Well, virtually 8 years.
Yeah. So he wasn't sacked either. So 8 seasons he was there and he wasn't sacked. These jobs do not come available very often. We've just got to pray and hope that one of them do. Well, it comes down to this then. 6 trophies each, and it's now a straight race for the final trophy on our checklist. So it's time we resign from our roles and hope that something in Turkey appears soon. The following season was rather quiet though, with only Besiktas appearing in season 14 as insecure, but they never committed to sacking their manager. And the season finished with us still unemployed as Galatasaray lifted the league title. Another year later though, and again we are just spectators waiting for something to happen. 3 whole seasons later though, and I was starting to worry for Dad and I. In fact, it was 3.5 seasons later before a flurry of jobs became available in Turkey as Fenerbahce manager left for another role, along with a few others sacking theirs. With one of them being Samsunspor, for which I applied for and was given an interview. I did apply for the Fenerbahce job too, but Dad was brought right away in for an interview while I was still sat waiting. So instead, I made the very bold move of taking over at Samsunspor as their new manager in the mid-December 2039. They were currently sat in 9th place with around £4 million in the transfer budget and some half-decent players that I could build with. Dad wasn't waiting too long though as Fenerbahce approached him and he finally became the manager of a Turkish giant. They were sat in 3rd place, but the finances at the club were really good and Dad had £33 million to spend in January. I even managed to wheel and deal and spend a good amount of the money in January too, trying to improve my team. And I set them out in a 4-3-2-1 narrow formation. Dad brought in 4 new players, spending only £21 million of the budget he had been given, and was looking to play them in a 4-2-3-1 wide system. When our teams clashed, it was a 3-3 draw with new signing Carlos Eduardo scoring a hat-trick for me. And the season ended with Samsunspor climbing into 4th place while Dad finishing 2nd place behind champions Galatasaray again. So with us both at clubs now, the race to 7 has just become very interesting again. 2036 it was when we left the last 2 jobs. It is now 2040. And we're finally starting the first season at the clubs. Obviously, we've been there for the half of the season in Turkey. It took so long. Just no jobs. No jobs whatsoever came up. 3 whole seasons just sat watching and waiting. So, 2040, here we are, Dad, in Turkey.
Yeah.
Both at 2 clubs. You've definitely got the better team out of the 2.
I think I was a little bit lucky there, again.
Yeah. But to be fair, I did take the Samsunspor job before Fenerbahce ever came back with an offer for either of us.
Yeah.
So I didn't even leave it to chance. I actually didn't mind this team looking at it. They didn't have the worst finances. They had a few okay players. And I think I've actually improved them quite a bit. So let's take a look at it then. we're looking at basically the team that I took over in the January. I had money to spend, and I did actually sell a couple of players, including this man here, for £10 million, which, there's actually a few more there that I did sell as well, like another £4 million there, which allowed me to spend a bit of money as well as bringing in some free transfers. So I brought in Carlos Eduardo. I mean, our strikers go in the Turkish league.
He's good.
For a club of my size. Yeah, he ain't bad at all. Very happy with that one. Then we've got a couple of centre-backs and an attacking midfielder. So we got this guy who's Turkish. Obviously, you're allowed to sign 11 foreign players or register 11 foreign players. That's where we're going to find ourselves getting stumped, I guess. But so I just went and trying to find some of the best Turkish players that I possibly could at this point.
Not many around, is there?
There isn't, no. But we've got 2 centre-backs, or 2 defenders and an attacking midfielder in my team. But this season, going into the next season, in the summer, we have signed a couple of more players. We've got another centre defensive midfielder from Antalyaspor who looks quite good on a free transfer. Then we've got Faisal Opoku. And I think Faisal is going to be huge for me. He looked great. Only 27. He is classed as probably my best player now. Playing in that centre attacking midfield role, he could be class. And we got Abdallah, finally, £2 million that I brought in, who is a better CDM that I've brought into the club. Now, I'm going for a 4-2-3-1 narrow, or 4-3-2-1 narrow even. And since I took over, it did very well. If we're looking at the end of the season, the back half of the season when I took over in January, I only lost 1 league game to Galatasaray. So we drew against each other as well. I also drew against Trabzonspor, who's one of the best teams here. And we had a final day draw, which meant nothing because of where I finished anyway. So I'm pretty happy. I'm currently unbeaten in the league, outside of 1 game against Galatasaray, who were champions. Not too bad. Now, the start of the season...
You sold that good player to Galatasaray with 10
Yeah, that's the trouble. The start of the season has not been as great, and we've gone to the end of the transfer window, which is mid-September here in Turkey. But I lost against Konyaspor, which is a bad result, really. And we've drawn against a couple of teams, including Euroside Rapid. Although I did beat them 9-1 in the first leg. So it was a close one. But Besiktas and Göztepe was draws. But the rest of them has been wins. And so it's promising, especially when you beat Ajax 5-0 in the Europa League. What's happening there? That is mental.
Good result, isn't it?
So, I'm excited about this season, and I actually think I might be in with a bit of a chance closer than what people anticipate, because remember, we're in 2040. I know Dad is Fenerbahce, but they haven't been as good. Now, if we're looking at the tactics or the team that you have brought in, Dad, in that January, you also spent a fair amount of money. £21 million came in just the January alone through the players that you brought in. Again, looking at the Turkish players as well, because of that rule of the foreign players. It seems like Fenerbahce are rich, by the way.
Yes. A little bit of luck's gone my way again.
Yeah, £46 million in the bank. Your budget was £23 million to kick things off. So it's once again our whole story in this has been I've had no money and you've had loads.
Yeah.
So that's how we are continuing to go, and it might be the end, because of course this is the final trophy that either of us need to win. It's basically a race now to the Turkish Super League. Well, and whoever wins takes the whole race.
I'm just going to put it there. If I don't win it with this team, there's something seriously wrong. I've come up with probably the 3rd or 4th best team in this league by far, and I got money. So if I don't win it, I'm going to kick myself so much.
Well, you sold £5 million worth, brought in £22 million, so we can see a couple of players who are Turkish that you've brought in here. Backup goalkeeper Daniel Lopez, though, was a good signing.
Yeah, definitely.
As a striker, Argentinian. Alfie Hawkins, you love your signing Arsenal players. There's Alfie. He's joined the club. Andrew Finch, which was a good left back from Crystal Palace. We've got Inter Milan players coming in. Good centre attacking midfielder Sam Solly, who was a good centre back. Again, a lot of foreign players coming in. Marcus Antonio from Brazil looks really good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
as a defensive midfielder. And finally, £8 million on a Turkish striker.
This was a little gem, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
to find
good.
This, especially being Turkish as well. So, I mean, 25, I could have him 4 or 5 seasons easily, and he could still be my best striker.
Yeah.
And I ain't got to worry about it because he's Turkish. So
plan on being here for that long, yeah?
Well, not really, but I'm just saying he's only 25 and he's that good already. Little gems I get, you just pick up and you just got to grab them straight away, haven't you?
Yeah. So, tactically, you're going with 3 up front.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a good enough strike force to be that 3 up front, but I just wanted to. My defense wasn't that good, so I was thinking I just would have made it sort of make myself really hard to beat. But when I do go forward, I could cause some damage. So, the 3 good strikers, really.
I mean, your best player is your goalkeeper, who was already at the club. He is fantastic.
Yeah, by far. I was a little bit lucky with this, so I've just got to make sure the reserve keeper is quite good all the time, but just keep this guy happy, and hopefully I can keep him. 29, he can do me a few seasons yet as well. So yeah,
okay.
Fingers crossed. If I lose him, I could be in trouble.
Well, you've already lost to Galatasaray, though.
Yeah, but that's the only game I've lost this season.
That's the only game you have lost.
You know, if they lose a game, that puts us right back in the thing. So, yeah.
You've got Dirty Rats of Rennes next.
Oh.
You beat Newcastle with 2 goals in the 90th minute, which is quite interesting.
Yeah,
you do love a late goal, 88th minute in the game before.
Yeah.
But in the league, Galatasaray have won 5 out of 5 so far and are currently leading with Trabzonspor. Neither of us are even in the top 3. Besiktas is also there because they are unbeaten as well. Just showing how strong or how competitive, the Turkish league is at the start here. And we've got a top scorer from Besiktas who looks really good, by the way. He looks fantastic. If I had the money you had, I probably would have tried to get him if he wouldn't come. But, of course, some of them don't like to go to the rivals.
No, they don't.
That's the trouble that you might find. But, yeah. So, are we going to be here for a long time or a good time? Let's find out as we race to 7, and it's the final trophy. The first fixture between us in Istanbul went in the favour of Dad, whose side won 3-1. However, neither of us were getting anywhere close to Galatasaray, who was still unbeaten after 19 games and winning 18 of them. Dad beat me in their second game against each other, but despite Galatasaray losing 5 games, he still couldn't get close to them near the top of the league. Right, so, second place, Dad, but still 6 points behind Galatasaray there, who have won the league.
Drawn too many games again. It's a story of my life, isn't it? Drawing games.
Yeah. Trabzonspor's dropped off massively, considering how dominant they were in the competition for a while. Obviously, Galatasaray's been winning it a lot lately, but Trabzonspor did win quite a few trophies. They've dropped down to 6. Even I finished above them with 67 points. I'm actually really happy with the season I had because I'm building something.
Yeah.
And out of nothing, really. Finishing 6 points behind with the money that you have spent, though.
I'm disappointed.
Ooh, there's going to be people commenting on that.
I am disappointed there. Drawn too many games again. Lost 5, the same as what Galatasaray did. So, I mean, that's still too many games if you're going to win a league. Yeah, disappointed with that season, but I'm there or thereabouts again. So
it's defensively, I think, yours, because clean sheets, you are nowhere near by looking at that. Daniel Lopez was the top scorer with 21.
Like I said, I think I've got a really good strike force, so sort out the defence.
Carlos Eduardo is there, though. Go on, Carlos. Love to see that. So, I mean, if we're looking past positions throughout the season, we never really were there. Galatasaray sort of held on to that top spot from the very beginning. We've never been able to knock them off. Me at Samsunspor, I basically stayed around that 6th position and pinched 5th in the end, so it wasn't too bad. And I even got to round 16 of the Europa League, so that's a nice little bit of money there. Whereas yourself, Dad, in the other competitions, you went on to win the cup. Now, it's not obviously a trophy that we are looking for. Tottenham also knocked you out of the quarterfinal of the Champions League, which is quite funny.
Getting to the quarterfinal, that's still good with that team, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm pleased with that. It's a good season. It's a start going in the right direction.
Yeah. So going into next season then, which I can't even remember off the top of my head what season it's going to be now, but Daniel Lopez got 36 goals there for you, 19 for the Turkish striker that you signed, which isn't too bad at all. And a couple of Turkish players near the top, which is good to see because obviously you need all the best Turkish players because of those rules. And you have 63 £1 million with an unbelievable
I'm going to say
wage.
It's more than that with the wage because they don't pay a lot of wages neither, do they?
No.
So
that's mental. But then, the higher you are, the further it is to fall. Because if I somehow pitch this...
Well, I'm getting worried. I must admit, I am getting worried. The one thing is, as well, it's all right having that type of money, but you just can't get the players to come to you. You know, a lot of the, you know, go for the top players. They're not interested in coming for the Turkish leagues.
Yeah.
So you have got to find these little gems in there.
It's because the manager, I reckon.
You just got to find those little gems in there that's going to cost you sort of like, I don't know, 7-8 million rather than the big ones. So that's what I'm going to look for.
Well, Faisal Opoku had a fantastic season for me.
Yes.
22 and 21, so 43 goal contributions in 46 games is not bad for a team like Samsunspor, because we don't have a lot of money. We only got £5 million in the bank, and my transfer budget is less than £1 million. So I will be looking at bringing in some free transfers to kick things off for the next season. So it's really, finally, in that final stretch of the race to the 7. It's come down to the final trophy, that 7th and most important one, and it's in Turkey. So you don't want to go anywhere, because now one of us is within touching distance of completing the race to the 7. In fact, both of us are. It's only that one of us can do it, and one of us has £60 million to spend, whereas the other has less than £1 million. Yes, it's down to the last trophy, but which way is this Race to 7 challenge going, do you think? Well, Dad, I mean, going into this, obviously you had the money, 60-odd million. There's still 36 million left in the bank.
Like I just said, I got the players in that I thought, that's definitely going to be better. And I still had the money left over, and I was looking and looking, and I thought, there's nothing there that's going to come to me that'd make my squad better. So, no, leave the money there. Okay, well, we've got a few players coming in. Some Turkish, some of the foreign slots are also being filled. There's a Mexican defender here who looks very good. Curtis Collins on a free transfer. Good midfielder. Good Welsh guy, this. But I'm really pleased at getting this guy in.
Vermeulen, £7 million from Zagreb, my old club. Left-sided defender. Got good with both feet, though. In fact, he played for 2 of my former clubs, because he was also at Club Brugge as well. So maybe you should have joined me instead. You would have had a happier time. Jorge Rodriguez in centre midfield. Again, good player. And Ilkay Akbulut, who is Turkish.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Left back. Decent left back as well. Can also play right back, because he's good with both feet too. And that is a 4-3-3 that you are lining up with. That 3 attacking strikers again, using your classic 4-3-3 with the DLF in the middle.
There's a few players in there. I mean, the midfield is a lot stronger now. I feel there was 3 in there. So, I think I've got a stronger midfield, so hopefully I should be right on Galatasaray's ass this time. Hopefully overtake them with this team. Okay, well, schedule at the start of the season. We have played each other, and you've defeated me as well. Yes.
So 4-2 against. I like how you're going. Yes, you spent 30 million. I didn't spend a penny.
I still class you as one of my what do you call them? Sort of
threats.
For the league, really. I think you've got a good side there. So when I look at the rest of the teams, apart from Milan, I mean, Christ to win, I beat AC Milan as well.
3-1.
So when you look at the other teams I've played in the league, I've had good wins, but I feel that you're a threat to me, and I've beaten you, so I'm quite happy with that. All
right, we did lose to Besiktas at the start of the season. That first game, you were down to 10 men, and then they scored as well. You did lose to Galatasaray in the Super Cup. Only on penalties, so that ain't too bad.
No.
But let's have a look at the 3 players that I brought in, which cost me nothing. Now, Jamie Luke Liv from Brighton. So, good centre-back, to be fair. Quick, that's what I like to see. So he's filling in one of the foreign players. In fact, all 3 of these are going to be filling in foreign player slots, because I couldn't find any good Turkish players to join the club. Dairo Marcelo, who's a good CDM. And then finally, we've got Jamie Thorpe, who came to us very late. He just couldn't find himself a club and decided to join me. He left Everton, and he is going to be a left-sided centre-back. He's 6'5", looks very good indeed, joining the club. Now, I'm sticking with exactly what I was rocking with. This team suits what I am playing. I got rid of the wingers last season anyway, so there's a couple of wingers at the club, but nobody who's going to be good enough that I should be having on the pitch. So it's just a case of finding guys for the system now, and I'm quite happy with how this system plays. So that is my starting 11, Opoku and Carlos Eduardo. We've got Petrov, who was already there. Thorpe and Liv both go in at centre-back, so that's not too bad. Now, at the start of the season, though, I've had a bad start, but it's been a weird one because I've played so many games of the Europa Conference League. It looks like I've been winning so many, and I haven't. I've literally only won 1 league game so far against this team here, 2-1. I'm not even going to try and attempt the name. But I've drawn against 2 teams as well, and I should be beating that side there, Kayserispor, and then Trabzonspor 2-2 as well. That's always an if one, but they were quite good, but obviously we finished above them last season. Besiktas, they stuffed me even with 10 men. They were down to 10 men. I went 1-0 up. Yeah, they still come back and beat me. So, where you saying I should be challenging for the league title? I don't quite think it's like that. Trabzonspor and Besiktas are currently
and that's
first
two teams
that
beat you as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's not too bad, really.
But you are favourites to win this.
Ooh.
The season preview does put you as favourites, and it puts me down in 5th place. But that, we always know, could be a load of hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens this season then, because it's season number 19 now in the race to the 7. Will it be the last one? With the season underway, games against each other would be huge, and my lads were up to the task. Unfortunately for me though, Dad's side was just far too strong, and in the first fixture between us won 4-2. The second time we clashed was a different story, and we snatched a winner from a crucial mistake by Dad's defence to win 3-2. We even met Dad for a third time in the cup match, which went to a penalty shootout and a Fenerbahce win. A cup that Dad's side went on to win 4-1 in the final. The league is what's important though, but neither of us could still catch Galatasaray despite getting rather close. Well, you're a lot closer this time round, Dad. Just 2 points behind Galatasaray.
I chucked it away. Oh, what am I doing?
And I am breathing down your neck as well.
Yeah.
I'm only 3 points behind you.
I mean, they've given me a chance here. They drew 7 games. When you draw 7 games, you should be jumping all over them.
Low points tally considering last season. They had 85. You had 79 last season. That would have, I mean, you had 59 goal difference there, 53. So you still wouldn't have won the league, but you had the same amount as what they did in that final.
I had a better team this season.
Yeah. You were top for a long time as well.
Yeah. Chucked it away.
I had a bit of a climb. Christ. But yeah, Galatasaray coming and snuck in at the end. It is still alive. I still got a chance to pinch this. Especially when you look at the player statistics, because Carlos Eduardo Anopoku is up there in behind Davidoglu, who is obviously your Turkish striker, and Ulic is also up there as well. You had the most clean sheets though.
Yeah,
so
I managed to keep my keeper.
That.
I was fortunate because he didn't want to sign a new contract, and at one time, and then I got finished at one season. I think it was last season. I approached him again and he said, yeah, he was signing a new contract, which I was relieved, really. I thought if I lose him, it's hard as hell to get really good keepers in this sort of league, but I managed to keep him.
Right, so, I mean, let's have a look at the rest of the competition. I got to the semi-final, by the way, of Europa Conference League. I ain't bad at all.
That's good.
Aston Villa was my opponent. It didn't exactly do great for the wage or for the bank balance, though. And the transfer budget going into next season, season 20, still haven't got anything, really. So, but I'm trudging along. Hopefully I should just keep the players here at the top. A lot of them are wanted. And I could cash in, but I'll only do that if I can find somebody who's just as good to replace them. It's pointless me selling players if I can't find somebody who is going to be better. But Faisal Opoku, I mean, he's had another fantastic season. Carlos Eduardo with 25 goals. They are both having a great time there. So I just need to build around those players, I think. That's what I need to do going into season number 20 to maybe put up a challenge for the league title. But yourself, Dad, I mean, you've got another £60 million. Another 16 million, but you got 30 goals there for Davidoglu with 11 assists. So 2 Turkish players are your top scorers. Daniel Lopez has dropped right off in comparison. So
that's where I'm fortunate with the Turkish guys scoring the goals. I can keep them. I mean, there's another striker there. He's 33, and he banged in.
He got 15
and 13 assists. So, you know, I'm looking at him and thinking he's 33. Usually in my team they're gone, but
good natural fitness. So you don't really need
right.
to get
I'm
rid of
looking
him.
at him, and he's 16 finishing as well. I thought, no, I'm going to keep him even though he's 33.
Yeah,
and he's Turkish. I ain't got to worry about that really, have I?
No, exactly.
So, yeah.
The rest of the competitions, though, runner-up in the Cup, beaten by Galatasaray in the Super Cup, but you did win the main Cup against a team. I mean, I can't say
they've done well to get to the final.
They've done well to get to the
final. For them, yeah, really good.
Beaten 4-1 there, but you did get to the Champions League quarter-final, which ain't bad.
And AC Milan got the revenge back on me.
Yeah, after beating them. The rest of the teams in there, like English and Spanish, so
there's a lot of big teams in there, so I probably wouldn't have gone much further. But I'm glad to get that far.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That's probably why your budget is doing quite well. £76 million yet again, but
it's good.
Another £60 million to go into season number 20. As we're only chasing the one trophy How do you spend it this summer? Dad spent most of his budget within the first month, bringing in 5 transfers early, but still leaving £20 million to play around with. I was stuck bringing in 3 transfers with no hope and spending money this summer, and I was trying to be smart about the positions that I strengthened. I was still optimistic though, because I brought a new striker who came in and could help out Carlos Eduardo this season. After all, I hadn't gotten to this point by spending big budgets anyway. Right, well this time round you did manage to spend the budget.
Yes.
But it was £40 million on one player, but that is exactly what I would have been doing.
That's the thing. I had to find someone. The big players for that type of money, none of them were going to come to me. But this, I actually found one that said, "Yeah, you will actually come to this, Charlie."
Charlie Lenton, very good player.
And to be honest with you, I've changed the formation, and this player just sits right into that formation. Lovely.
Yeah, and he is out for 2 to 5 weeks because he's been given the Omega Luke curse by the looks of it. But Eddie Boss has joined, another £15 million there for a Dutch striker. £6 million for a centre defence midfielder. Maximiliano Gutierrez, £1 million.
Yeah, good defender there. Only £1 million. That's a bargain, really, wasn't it?
£25 million for this Spanish centre attacking midfielder, but he is absolute mustard as well.
So that tells you something. I've bought 2 attacking midfielders.
Yeah, Gezgin as well has come in. Good Turkish player. But tactically, switching things around.
Yeah, I've done enough of trying to make me hard to beat. I'm just going for you now. I'm just going to go and try and win every game.
I'll blow you.
No, any team in the league. I'm going from, rather than trying to be hard to beat, I'm going for every team, and I'm trying to try and win every game.
All right.
So I'm attacking.
Collins is being locked in because he wasn't being able to play there to begin with. So I think it's smart because he's probably one of the best midfielders in your team and in the league. And he's only, just very well rounded, isn't he? With great natural fitness. So he can definitely handle being locked in. But the rest of the team, if you were to pick a best 11 like that, looks like that. So basically it would just be wherever he is down there, wherever he is. There he is. So it's more of a 4-2-2 like that. So Lenton and Cabrera, the 2 new attacking midfielders, have come straight in. Boss and Davidoglu, who was the top scorer last year, in front of them up front. Okay.
Marco Antonio was the hardest player I had to try and find a player that was better than him.
Yeah.
I tried it I think it was 2 seasons, 3 seasons, because you look at him and you think he's all right, but you think you'd find an easier, a better player every time. No. Every time I got a player in that position, he still got into that position at first 11. So he was one of my best buys, really, I would say. Yeah,
he's been quite good.
Yeah.
Schedule at the start of the season then, Dan. Let's have a brief look at that. We've played quite a lot of games because of qualification in Europe, the Champions League. Have lost a couple of games, though. One of them in the league to Trabzonspor.
Yes.
2-0.
I know, I'm a bit disappointed with that as well. And I lost a Super Cup to Galatasaray again.
Yeah.
So it's not a great start, but, I'm there or thereabouts, so...
Scoring a lot of goals, though.
Yes,
Beat Besiktas.
That's the main thing. I'm scoring goals, but you can't win a game unless you score a goal. So there you go.
Advice. That's what you guys keep coming back for.
Yeah,
advice like that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, can you?
No.
Never late goal, especially if it's the only goal.
Yeah. Right, so, again, no money being spent. 2 seasons in a row, not a penny being spent. But I've had to really try and find players that would just slightly improve the team or just in general Turkish and add to the squad like this man. We've also got Kaplan, who's come in as a good backup striker to be in with. And I've actually changed formation myself as well. Although I did like the formation I had, because of the limit of free transfers that I had, I found Rian Robles. Now, I wasn't going to sell Carlos Eduardo, so I thought, well, let's go 2 up front instead, because now I've got 3 good strikers. Aydin Shitrit as well has come in at right back. But tactically, I basically just moved one of these attacking midfielders up because Petrov wasn't as good anymore. So now I've got 2 strikers in Robles and Carlos Eduardo up front, basically in the same type of system. And schedule, it's been doing quite well because I've actually got more points than Dad at the start of the season here. I've been winning more games, although I haven't played anybody good yet. And I did drop points there, but I did manage to claw a late equaliser in the 89th minute through Jamie Thorpe. So, as it stands, I am further ahead of Dad. Come on, imagine if I managed to pinch this without spending a penny in 2 seasons.
I'm not going to do the end of it if you do.
Oh, no. So, season number 20 then, the race to 7 is on a knife edge because whoever wins this league completes the challenge. The games against each other again means more than most with the situation we are in, and Dad just about snatches the first 3 points, mainly down to his player of the match goalkeeper who kept a clean sheet. It wasn't looking good for me though, as I was even above Galatasaray this season and Dad was running away with it, 9 points clear in mid-January. I really needed my side to step up in the second half of the season, and Carlos Eduardo heard my call. The money that Dad was able to spend though cancelled out those goals that Eduardo was getting me, as £40 million Lenton for Dad was fantastic as well. And there was also a chance we could meet each other in the cup final as well if we were both won our semi-final matches. Dad got there once again thanks to Charlie Lenton's goal, which was the difference against Galatasaray. I will be joining him though thanks to a scorcher to also win 1-0 in my semi-final too, which means not only will we play on the final day of the league campaign but also the cup final too in the space of a week. My Samsung Sport team actually beat Dad's side though on the final day, but it didn't have any effect on the league title as it was already wrapped up, meaning Dad completes the Race to 7 challenge. And unfortunately for me, I didn't even get to lift the Turkish Cup as Dad's side battered mine in the final 4-0. Well, congratulations, Dad.
Get in.
I mean, you had great points tally in that final season as well.
Yes.
91. Oh, and I had 80.
Only drew one game.
Last season, that would have been enough to win.
Yeah.
So annoying. Well, there we go.
Yes.
Well done. The race to the 7.
I'm relieved now.
I
was so worried you were going to do me with that team. You were getting closer and closer. That goes to prove it as well.
Carlos Eduardo with 29 goals in that season. But look at the Fenerbahce players. Charlie Lenton was the highest average rating. Ruben Cabrera, the second highest amount of player of the matches. Those are the 2 signings that you brought in this window, which made a big difference. I'm making you a little bit better defensively, obviously with ranking with the most clean sheets.
Yeah, good keeper, yes.
You finally picked up the Turkish league title.
Get in.
So close. I was so close. Samsung Sport finishing in second place. I mean, I'm nowhere near in terms of points tally, but the fact that I was even in second place and by 7 points is great.
I mean, yeah, you beat Galatasaray by 7 points. That's still good, really.
Yeah.
You know, for the money that you had to spend, that is so good.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, well.
I'm so relieved.
But there we go. Especially because of the advantage that you took earlier in this challenge.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Your 2-0 lead, 4-2 up. Yeah, and then that move when you got to Dortmund, and I was like, well, that's probably game over now.
Yeah.
And I just somehow managed to get the luck.
I was there a little bit too long, but I know all you guys were saying I should have went, but they had such a good side, and I just kept on losing by 1 point all the time. You know, and you're thinking to yourself, I can't just leave the team when I'm only 1 point away from winning the league.
Your trouble was, it's the same thing that you do every single time. You have so much money, you think, oh, I can buy 7 good players instead of just buying 1 or 2 amazing players.
Yeah.
And that was the trouble. You go, this is what Dad does. He'll go to the players that he's scouted and look and go, oh, look, he is, say that guy's like 100 million. He'll go, oh, I could get him, or I could get 3 of these down here who are worse players, but I could get 3 of them. Instead of, sometimes I just go, what's the highest transfer value player I can get, and then have a look at them instead. And I think that's what you did at Dortmund. I was watching you do it and I was thinking, oh, he's fumbling here.
If you guys can remember right back to the beginning when I started playing this game, what was the best thing I always liked? I always liked the
squad players.
A squad player, didn't I?
Yeah.
And the problem is,
I didn't win many challenges.
I do like having a good, strong squad. And it is hard for me to learn sometimes just to go out and buy that one player and just stick with what I got. I do like buying 2 or 3 players, like you say. So
2 or 3 is acceptable. Some of the transfer windows you were bringing in like 11, 12. It was like watching Forest getting promoted again.
Yeah.
But you did it.
I'm getting there, and I've done it, yes.
Yeah, you did it. And how did you do it, Dad? Well, this transfer window, you spent £40 million on one player and 25 on another. Yeah. And those were your 2 best players.
Yeah.
So that tells you, doesn't it?
I didn't want to leave the money in the kitty this time. I left 30-odd million in the kitty last time, and I thought I'd be all right that season. I honestly thought I'd win it this season, even though I've left 35 million in the kitty. And when I didn't, I thought, right, I'm spending all the money. If I've got to spend 60 million on 2 players, I'll do that. So, yeah, I did learn.
Right, well done. You've finally done it.
I'm going to say well done to you, because I think you had a lot more hard challenges than what I did. like I said, I was lucky all the way through this time.
Yeah, you had money everywhere you went.
And the teams that I went
poached
to,
by Real Madrid.
Yeah, that to me was the biggest luck that I had in that, because I could have been stuck here with Chelsea for quite some seasons.
Yeah, I was open for it.
Yeah,
and then when you got that.
And they were giving me the money, and that was the worst thing about it. That's when
600 million.
Yeah, I mean Dortmund done the same thing. They gave me 200 million
every season.
Yeah,
that you were there.
Yeah.
Whereas I was going to Juve, no money. The only place I had money was Monaco.
Yeah.
And I did quite good because I was only there for a season. Yeah, season and a half.
That was really good season at Monaco. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done well at Portugal as well.
Yeah, one and done.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning of the challenge, the one place I was not going to go was Italy. You could have given me one of the top jobs there, and I'd have still took another team somewhere else. Really, I had it in my head. I'm not going to go to Italy. I'll lose it badly in Italy. I knew I would. So I thought
Get stuck at Roma.
Yeah, and when you went there and won it straight away, I thought I was so relieved, because I thought, right, I haven't got to go to Italy now. But I was surprised that we ended up in the same league for the last challenge.
Yeah.
I thought we would have been somewhere else different.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't. You can't, can you? You have to be in the same league for one. If there's one remaining trophy, because of how the concept of works, you can't go elsewhere.
Yeah.
But the only way, obviously, that wouldn't happen is if you had like a 2-league.
Yeah.
And you only, there's 2 different leagues open. But yeah, I closed the gap so quickly with the wins that I had in the last 3 that I managed to pick up while you were just doing Dortmund. I picked up 3 league titles.
Oh, and that sort of like knocked me back for 6, really. I was getting worried then.
But what a challenge. I mean, I must
Oh, it was so good, wasn't it?
Not to toot my own horn, but this was a concept that I thought of about 2 months ago, and I really have enjoyed the actual concept itself.
Yeah.
Having 2 of us going up against it, and it's almost like somebody described it as like blockbusters, Football Manager blockbusters.
Yeah.
Once you've got one, you can't do the other. But there's other variations that we could potentially do.
Yeah.
There's one which I seen somebody mention in the comments where you can steal a trophy. So once you go to a league, if somebody's won that and they leave, you can go to that trophy, you can go to that competition after, and if you win it, you steal it from them. I mean, that
could be interesting.
That is an interesting one. So that is a concept that maybe that we could do later on down the line. I don't think we'd do it Race to 7 again, because this took us 20 seasons just to do it without stealing. But that was 3 seasons on the bench waiting for trophies. But maybe like a Race to 5 or something would be quite entertaining. But yeah, what is in store for us next? I really hope you've enjoyed the Race to 7 challenge. We have actually had a blast doing it. So make sure you are subscribed, because the next challenge, I'm sure, will be just as entertaining. But thank you very much for watching, and why not check out this video on screen after we have done the final checklist. Yes, congratulations to Dad, who completes his Race to 7 checklist. But with this one going down to the wire, we both hope you've enjoyed the ride.